can call them 801-450-1882. slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
It's back, and you will be too. June 12th through the 14th at the Cache County Fairgrounds, it's the Summerfest Arts Fair, celebrating its 41st anniversary, featuring local and regional artists and musicians. You're gonna love this, like you loved it before. Art, painting, ceramics, music, food. Summerfest Arts Fair is loaded with all the things that you and the family love the most. Then get set for an amazing lineup of musicians, featuring headliners the Lonely Hearts Club Band, The Last Wild Buffalo, and Music City Groove. Plus, enjoy other regional musicians like the Highline Drifters and Fry Pan Band. This is where local, regional, and national artists come together to celebrate the arts. So discover 165 artist booths, 38 performing groups, and 30 food vendors, along with a plein air art competition. Get the full details at logansummerfest.org. logansummerfest.org. Summerfest Arts Fair, June 12th through the 14th at the Cache County Fairgrounds.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Breaking news, Lori Vallow-Daybell has just been found guilty in Arizona of conspiracy to commit the murder of Brandon Boudreaux. Prosecutors accused Lori and her late brother Alex Cox of planning to kill Boudreaux back in October 2019. Prosecutors say Cox drove a Jeep that belonged to Lori's deceased husband, Charles Vallow, from Idaho to Gilbert, Arizona, and then shot at Boudreaux outside his home. KSL News Time, 12:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
Southern Utah's been baking for days with highs consistently hitting 100 degrees plus, but the drought situation down there has actually gotten better. On KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
second, a Payson man is being charged after police say he was going over 140 miles per hour on I-15 in Utah County. Third, traffic and weather together.
Cleanup continues of an accident on the ramp from I-215 southbound in Taylorsville at Redwood Road, and slowdowns again today southbound I-15 from the Kaysville Ponds down to Lagoon in Farmington. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
The hot weather's here to stay, especially for Father's Day. I'm Matt Johnson.
84 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now, our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Growing tensions between the U.S. and Iran with scheduled nuclear talks set to take place in the coming days. The U.S. now pulling military troops and personnel stationed in the region of the Middle East, with Israel threatening military strikes in Iran. President Trump at the White House says Iran has to get a deal done.
Well, I don't want to say imminent, but it looks like it's something that could very well happen. Look, it's very simple, not complicated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Other than that, I want them to be successful. I want them to be tremendous. We'll help them be successful. We'll trade with them. We'll do whatever is necessary.
Iran remains staunch on its plans, it says, to continue its uranium enrichment. Protests against the widespread ICE raids continuing in Los Angeles, with police arresting some demonstrators last night. But the curfew in place is also helping curb clashes. Federal troops remain in place in the city, deployed by President Trump earlier this week. The state is suing, asking a federal judge to stop the deployment, which officials say is not helping local law enforcement and stoking more unrest. California's Attorney General Rob Bonta.
We argue that the president is engaged in an unlawful power grab, that he's trying to exercise authority that he doesn't have, that the commander-in-chief for the National Guard, the California National Guard, under these circumstances, is Gavin Newsom.
The NTSB says it will lead a team of U.S. investigators to help assist the investigation in India after a Boeing 787 crash today. More than 240 people reported on board. Officials now say there appears to be one survivor. The jet was bound for London when there was some sort of malfunction. A vote is scheduled this afternoon on a nearly $10 billion rescissions package to codify DOJ's cuts to foreign and public broadcasting. GOP House Speaker Mike Johnson sounding confident it will pass. He can only afford to lose 3 votes. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. We hit a record of 98 degrees in Salt Lake City yesterday. Temperatures reached triple digits in parts of southern Utah, and it kept search and rescue crews busy. The Washington County Sheriff's Office says they had to help 4 different people suffering from heat-related symptoms in the span of about 4 hours yesterday. One of those people had to be life-flighted to the hospital. Sergeant Jacob Paul says they've now had to help more than 20 people because of the heat in the last 2 weeks.
We've continually had to send our rescuers out to assist those people because they weren't prepared with the equipment that they needed, and hiking in temperatures that really aren't appropriate to be hiking. If you look at the weather and you see triple digits, a general rule, I would just recommend not going out and hiking, because generally no amount of hydration that you can give yourself, especially if you're starting when you start hiking, can keep you hydrated in those conditions. So you're already behind the 8 ball and kind of out of luck if you're not prepared prior to going out, and there's no amount of hydration that you can have while you're out on the trail, even if you do bring a lot of water that can continue to keep you hydrated. So we recommend not going out and hiking in those severe temperatures that we're experiencing right now. If you go out in the mornings, it's still good enough hiking weather, but try to plan accordingly and have your hike finished before it gets into those triple digits.
By Sunday, highs here in Salt Lake are expected to get back up to 97. St. George is expected to hit 105 by the end of the weekend. KSL News Time, 12:19. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards Credit Card Promotion. Here's Ricky Meese.
No delays on your Salt Lake County freeways. In Utah County, we have this accident. Really isn't going to affect your commute, but it is near the top of the on-ramp to southbound I-15 at 8000 South Spanish Fork. Look for all of those vehicles over to the right shoulder. Now, I-15 in Utah County on the main flow is in good shape, but I-15 in Davis County, not so much. The southbound slowdowns are in place again today through the work zone as you go from Kaysville into Farmington. Every day, your local Salvation Army is there doing the most good fighting hunger, homelessness, and hardship. Donate today at 160years.org. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's nothing but mid and upper 90s for the next several days. How about a partly cloudy sky today and a 20% chance for a stray shower by afternoon, 94 the high and a little bit breezy. 95 tomorrow, sunshine. High pressure still in control on Saturday, 97. How about Father's Day? Breezy, 98. Elevated fire danger, partly cloudy. Partly cloudy, 96 on Monday, breezy again. Keeping that southwest flow in force on Tuesday, 90 degrees. We like it, a little bit cooler. And then 92, mostly sunny on your Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 86 and mostly sunny in Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. KSL News Time, 12:21.
Whether you're building your $1 million dream home, giving your current home a facelift, or just trying to get it out of the minor leagues, Peach Windows and Doors brings the big league look.
Modern style, energy efficiency, clean lines, tough builds, and curb appeal that hits like a home run. Not sure what you need? No sweat. Peach has the coaching staff to get your home in the game. No pressure, no gimmicks, just solid game plans and pro-level results to help you knock it out of the park.
Come see for yourself big, beautiful windows that bring the outside in. Visit Peach Windows and Doors showroom, big enough to spark ideas, small enough to feel right at home. It's time to step up your game and make your house the MVP of the neighborhood. Why live in the minor leagues when you can swing like $1 million? Peach Windows and Doors, because real homes play like champions. Visit peachdoorsandwindows.com or call 801-566-1255 for your free consultation.
That's Peach Windows and Doors. Give them a call, 801-566-1255.
Incredible savings on all Bernina machines at Dave's Bernina in Provo and St. George.
Don't miss our sun-kissed savings, such as $200 to $400 off machines $2,000 to $5,000, $500 to $700 off machines $5,000 to $8,000, $800 to $1,000 discounts on machines $8,000 to $15,000. And get $1,500 savings on machines $15,000 and up. Plus a limited time offer of 2.99% interest for 60 months on certain machines.
Come in now for bargains on trade-ins, classroom, and demo machines that come with warranties.
The Burnett 33 machine is only $199 and the Burnett Academy $349.
Come see the Bernina 990, the most amazing revolutionary sewing machine in the world.
With a discount up to $1,500.
Dave's Bernina, 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo. Dave'sBernina.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you have a drain that's clogged or backed up, after you've tried the plungers and products, the next step usually involves some kind of drain snake or cabling equipment. You see, sometimes the blockage is far enough down the line that you need special equipment that most homeowners just don't have. That's where the Drains Department at Any Hour Services can help. A drain snake can clear most blockages and get the water flowing again, and clearing blocked drains is what our Drains Department does day in and day out. So if you're a homeowner with a drain line that's clogged or backed up and you'd like one of our drain technicians to come and snake the line for you, it's only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Repair or replace your roof now during S&S Roofing's huge spring sale. 12 months interest-free financing. The highest value roofing job in Utah. Dial pound 250 and then say S&S Roofing.
People who sleep with their pets on the bed might not be getting the good night's sleep doctors say they need.
Who doesn't like a cuddly cat or a friendly dog on the bed with them at night? A lot of pet owners let their animals up with them, but doctors say doing that can negatively disrupt your sleep. Couple of reasons. Dogs and cats' sleep cycles aren't the same as ours. They're restless when we aren't. Then there's the pet dander and microbes brought into the house that can affect breathing. The more pets you have, the more your sleep can be interrupted. Most pet owners, however, know all this, but they don't really care. They say Fido stays. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Watching Utah's money, Heineken is planning to invest more than $2.7 billion in Mexico through 2028. The money will go toward different products, including a new factory. Boeing shares are down 8% in pre-market trading following the plane crash in India. It's the first crash ever of a Boeing 787 aircraft. And even Starbucks is joining in on the protein craze. The chain will be launching new protein cold foam options. It'll reportedly add about 15 grams of protein to drinks. The exact date of the release has not been announced, but the CEO says it will be very soon. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 64 points, the S&P up 15, and the NASDAQ is up 35. The Indiana Pacers are making a name for themselves in Game 3 of the NBA Finals.
Leading all scorers with 27 points, Indiana's Benedict Mathurin says his performance in the Pacers' 116-107 win over Oklahoma City is just the start.
The state of Indiana is about basketball, and that's the first time that I really felt it. And as much as this is a dream right now, I'm not trying to live in my dream. I'm trying to live in the present and make sure the dream ends well, which means winning next game and winning a championship.
The win, which gives the Pacers a 2-1 lead in the series, also came 25 years to the day after Reggie Miller led the Pacers to a Game 3 win against Los Angeles in the franchise's first NBA Finals win in 2000. At the NBA Finals, Will Clark, ABC News.
The kind of inside scoop you only get from KSL. Editor of Utah Policy, Holly Richardson, a.k.a. Holly on the Hill, and KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas. Greg and Holly make up the new Inside Sources, 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. I want to tell you about our famous You Don't Need a Warranty warranty. That's right, it's a warranty you don't need, but we give it to you anyway. Let me explain. Most warranty problems for siding, gutters, and windows are caused by not installing stuff right in the first place. If you rush the work, cut corners, or use subpar materials, you're just begging for problems later. At RGS Exteriors, we don't tolerate careless workmanship. We slow down, focus on every detail, and use only the best materials. We prevent warranty work by doing the job right in the first place. That's why the 10-year everything guarantee we give you is also known as our "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. We absolutely will be there if you need to use it. But honestly, you probably will never have to. Done right the first time. That's the RGS way. For siding, gutters, and windows, call 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsexteriors.com.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic. Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life.
I wanted you to know, from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now, that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
KSL News Time, 12:28. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Here's Ricky Meese.
Another day of delays for Davis County drivers. This is southbound I-15 as you go from the Kaysville Ponds down to about Park Lane in Farmington. Again, that's due to road work. Delay free, though, if you're traveling any of the Salt Lake County freeways. Traffic's rough, but your parking lot doesn't have to be. GoPave Utah keeps things smooth with expert asphalt maintenance at GoPaveUtah.com. That's GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Look for partly cloudy skies this afternoon, maybe a 20% chance for a shower. 94 degrees and breezy out of the south. 95 tomorrow, it's up to 97 on Saturday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time, 12:30. KSL's top stories this hour. Salt Lake County officials are urging people to keep a closer eye on older adults in their lives, saying elder abuse and neglect often go unnoticed until it's too late. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera talked to local officials about what to watch for and how to help.
The Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office says 1 in 10 older adults experience abuse or exploitation, and it's often hidden behind closed doors.
If something doesn't feel right, it's all of our responsibility to speak up. Your voice might be the one that brings help to someone who needs it.
After January with Aging and Adult Services says you can help, like check in regularly with elderly neighbors or loved ones, go on walks together, and look out for warning signs like sudden withdrawal, poor hygiene, or unpaid bills. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
New at noon, a daycare employee in Murray is being accused of sexually abusing several children by touching them inappropriately. The alleged abuse happened back in February. The documents do not name the daycare where the abuse was reported. Earlier this hour, an Arizona jury found Lori Vallow Daybell guilty of conspiracy to commit the murder of her ex-nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreau. Prosecutors accused Lori and her late brother Alex Cox of planning to kill Boudreau back in October 2019. They presented evidence in court saying Cox drove a Jeep that belonged to Lori's deceased husband, Charles Vallow, from Idaho to Gilbert, Arizona, and then shot at Boudreau outside his home. The judge has just set sentencing for July 25th. Sandy police say they've seen a dip in crime in the city so far this year, and they're attributing it to good teamwork between police and the public. KSL News Radio's Verl Johansson explains.
Sandy Police Sergeant Greg Moffitt says reported vehicle thefts and vehicle burglaries have both dropped by more than 60%. He says one reason for the drop is their work with the Neighborhood Watch.
We are pretty proactive with meeting with our Neighborhood Watch and helping pass along good tips to our citizens.
Moffitt says he doesn't think they're doing anything different from other police departments, but
there's always a possibility that these numbers could be, a little bit off based on people not reporting things.
Moffitt says some people may not want to report a crime because they're worried they're wasting officers' time, but he says police want to know even if it's a small crime. He says they've also improved online reporting if people don't want to call. Verl Johansson, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour from ABC News. ABC News reports Israel is considering taking military action against Iran now that the UN has said Iran has ramped up its uranium enrichment program. ABC's Luis Martinez says Iran is also making new threats against the U.S.
Part of what that is based off of the concern that Iran may retaliate if there is an attack against the Iranian nuclear facilities, that they may retaliate not just against Israel, but against U.S. facilities in the region. And there is a precedent for that because we heard yesterday from a senior Iranian official who essentially said that if the talks break down and there is a conflict, that the United States will feel action from Iran.
The U.S. and Iran are scheduled to continue talks this weekend about reaching a new nuclear deal. President Trump says he's already started moving out some diplomats and some military families from the Middle East.
Well, they are being moved out because it could be a dangerous place, and we'll see what happens. But we've given notice to move out, and we'll see what happens.
We will have updates on this story as it develops on air and on KSLNewsRadio.com. An 80-year-old woman is dead and a 28-year-old severely injured after a tree branch fell on top of them in Perry. KSL News Radio's Jessica Lowell has details.
Police say this happened around 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon at Perry Park. When emergency responders got there, they gave the 80-year-old CPR, but she died on scene. The younger woman was taken to the hospital in Brigham City in serious condition.
We'll continue to bring you the very latest throughout the afternoon. The University of Utah is opening a regional campus in St. George that will focus on training doctors to work in rural communities.
It's called the Southern Utah Regional Medical Campus, and they're already accepting applicants. They'll start with 10 students. Senior Associate Dean of the campus, Michelle Hoffman, says Utah has the least amount of primary care positions per capita in the country, and the problem is even worse in rural areas.
We all need primary care. Primary care keeps us healthy and happy and out of hospitals, and we really need to broaden our access in our state so that folks get the kind of care that they need, that preventive care.
The students will start their first year studying in Salt Lake, then they'll be transferred to the regional campus to work with rural communities in the area. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Southern Utah's drought situation has improved over the last week, despite the fact that they've been dealing with triple-digit heat. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, the large pieces of the state that are in severe or extreme drought have both decreased, thanks to all the storms the southern part of the state has received in the last couple weeks. But National Weather Service hydrologist Glenn Merrill says that improvement likely won't last long.
We're going to see a lot of evaporative demand on the landscape here over the next week or two.
Merrill says, though, that southern Utah has a good chance of getting a strong monsoon season, which could help limit the severity of the drought this summer. First look traffic, here's Ricky Meese.
We are experiencing slow speeds on southbound I-15. This is as you go from Kaysville into Farmington. Plus, the cleanup of the crash that continues at the on-ramp to southbound I-15 out 8000 south in Spanish Fork. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
This show's going to be different.
The new Inside Sources.
We have the desire to help you understand the issues that are impacting you on your family level. Hi, I'm Holly Richardson.
My name is Greg Skortis.
Join Inside Sources this week, 9 to noon
on KSL News Radio.
Looking for reliable home services you can actually count on? I've got just the team for you. Mountain Home Services. They've been serving Utah since 1954 with honest, upfront pricing and zero hidden fees. Plus, they back every job with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. With summer heating up, now's the time to get your AC in shape. Mountain Home Services delivers fast, expert air conditioning service to keep your home cool and comfortable. And don't forget, they also handle electrical and plumbing work with the same trusted care. And here's the best part. KSL listeners get exclusive limited-time specials, but you have to call and ask. These deals won't last, so don't miss your chance to save. Call 801-543-2222 today and tell them KSL sent you. That's 801-543-2222 or visit mountainhomeservices.com. Get the service you need and the deal you deserve.
It's Julie from the Cache Valley Visitors Bureau inviting you to come to Logan and celebrate summer right. First, this Thursday through Saturday, it's the 41st annual Summerfest Arts Fair, and it's free. Discover 168 regional artists showcasing jewelry, fine arts, and crafts, all while you listen to live music and eat great food. 38 live performances and 30 food trucks. Did I mention Summerfest is free? Then check out free hour-long concerts at the Tabernacle downtown at noon every weekday, the free Gardeners Market on Saturdays, and the new downtown plaza with a splash pad and free concerts on Wednesdays and Fridays. Don't forget your hotel, which is not quite free, is only 10 minutes from the National Forest for hiking and biking and stunning scenery. Celebrate summer in Logan. It's not 3 hours from Salt Lake, it's only 90 minutes, so just get in the car. Dozens of unique restaurants, Cache Valley Foodie Trek, festivals and fun, Broadway performances and concerts, and small town charm. ExploreLogan.com. ExploreLogan.com.
An 80-year-old woman has died after a tree branch fell on her in Perry. Another person has been taken to the hospital in serious condition. KSL News Time is 12:37. A former Utah State University student is now on probation for mixing chemicals in his dorm room, which led to a building evacuation. Cache Valley Daily reports Joshua Peter Jagger's lawyer says he was mixing chemicals as an experiment for class and his love of science. The evacuation and decontamination efforts costed more than $20,000. He was sentenced earlier this week. Other national stories we're following. Today, governors from several Democratically led states are answering questions from the Republican-led House Oversight Committee about being what the committee called sanctuary states. ABC's Jay O'Brien is there on Capitol Hill.
Well, Republicans on this panel push these Democratic governors, saying that they are breaking the law by not cooperating with federal immigration enforcement. We've seen Democrats on this panel do the same thing and say the administration is breaking the law with this troop deployment.
The governors from New York, Minnesota, and Illinois are among those being questioned. Testimony continues today from a former girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs in New York City. ABC's Aaron Katursky says prosecutors are also requesting that a juror be dismissed due to what they're calling a lack of candor.
We do know that the defense is resisting the idea of dismissing this juror, 41-year-old black man from the Bronx. The defense has made a point of saying that this is a thinly veiled attempt by the prosecutors to dismiss a black juror from the panel. It's not the first time the defense has accused prosecutors of injecting race into the whole process over the jury. The judge said whatever the issue is, he's going to resolve it by the end of the day tomorrow.
Combs is facing charges ranging from sex trafficking to fraud. Reality TV fans are not sold on SLC. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
The reality TV show following a Lehigh real estate brokerage has been canceled after one season.
I am Jennifer Yo, CEO of Presidio Real Estate. The amount of women that create brokerages in the state of Utah and succeed, I would say 1%. Do I look like a boss?
Yeah.
Good.
Yo confirmed it in a statement to KSL.com, saying editing choices compromised the overall viewing experience of the show, but they are still proud of it. The series aired back in December after the network saw the success of shows like Selling Sunset and The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. But reality TV fans are still loving the Wasatch Front's famous housewives, and the show has just been renewed for a 6th season. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 12:40. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Here's Ricky Meese.
No new accidents. We have the final cleanup of the earlier crash in Taylorsville at the ramp from I-215 southbound at Redwood Road. It really hasn't caused a big problem. But the crash that's in Utah County, that's likely going to be there for a little while because it takes longer to clear big rigs, and we have a few of those involved in this accident. It's near the top of the on-ramp to enter southbound traffic on I-15 at 8000 South Spanish Fork. Now remember, construction has traffic down to one lane going by Vivian Park in Provo Canyon, Highway 189. We have seen, especially like in the afternoon, delays do build there. But where we've had consistent delays, that's southbound I-15 in Davis County, going from the Kaysville Ponds through Farmington. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, looking at another warm day today, 94 the high, but that's down about 4 degrees from yesterday's tide record at 98. We'll go for partly cloudy skies today with a 20% chance for a shower, a little bit breezy. 95, sunshine on your Friday. Saturday's hot, 97. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 88 degrees and mostly sunny in Salt Lake City. Coming up on midday, the Utah County Commission is proposing a land swap that they say will make Bridalveil Falls safer. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Imagine waking up every morning with a smile you're proud of. No more hiding, no more pain. Stubbs Dental Implant Center, Utah's Best of State winner for 3 years in a row, has helped thousands of people ditch the dentures and say goodbye to missing or broken teeth. Their expert team specializes in giving you a permanent, natural-looking smile with dental implants that feel and function just like real teeth. With over 2,000 five-star Google reviews, their patients say it best.
Dental implants gave me my life back. I feel confident again. I feel like I can be myself.
There was no way I was getting dentures. Getting dental implants from Stubbs Dental has been the best decision of my life.
Let the expert team at Stubbs Dental help you take the first step to changing your life with dental implants. Schedule your complimentary consultation today, a $350 value, absolutely free. Visit StubbsDental.com today. That's StubbsDental.com. StubbsDental.com.
You've built the dream, the home, the lifestyle, the legacy. Now it's time your windows and doors reflect that same $1 million standard. Whether you're designing a stunning custom home or upgrading the one you've loved for years, Peach Doors and Windows is here to bring that vision to life with precision, style, and craftsmanship.
The Peach specialty? High-end custom windows and doors that don't just fit your space, they elevate it. From sleek modern lines to timeless elegant finishes, they offer the kinds of craftsmanship that truly complements a $1 million space. And with Peach, the process is easy. No pressure, no gimmicks, just knowledgeable experts helping you find solutions to turn your someday project into right now.
Visit their spacious showroom, get inspired, and create something beautiful together. Peach Doors and Windows for the $1 million home you live in and the $1 million feeling you deserve. Visit peachdoorsandwindows.com or call 801-566-1255 today.
That's Peach Windows and Doors. Give them a call, 801-566-1255.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KSL News Time, 1245. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
80% of the world's population is now one flight away from Salt Lake City, expanding economic, cultural, and international travel opportunities. I'm KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla.
Second, Lori Vallow-Daybell has been found guilty in Arizona of conspiracy to commit the murder of her ex-nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreaux. Third, traffic and weather together.
Delays, just expect them if you're traveling southbound I-15 coming from Davis County into Salt Lake County. This is due to road work taking place from the Kaysville Ponds down to about Park Lane in Farmington. After that, you're right back to the posted limit all the way into Salt Lake County. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Cooking up a 94-degree forecast today, then even warmer for the weekend. I'm Matt Johnson.
It's 88 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now, our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Talks between the U.S. and Iran set to take place in the coming days. President Trump at the White House acknowledged Israel could take military action against Iranian targets, but did not say it was imminent. The president calling for U.S. personnel to leave the region. Here's ABC's Karen Travers.
President Trump said the decision was made to move out American personnel from parts of the Middle East amid escalating tensions with Israel and Iran.
There's a chance of massive conflict. We have a lot of American people in this area, and I said, we got to tell them to get out. because something could happen soon.
Non-essential staff have been ordered to leave the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, and the Pentagon has authorized the voluntary departure of military dependents from locations across the Middle East.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem defending the president's decision to send the National Guard and Marines to Los Angeles after a week of protests over immigration raids. Noem says many officers have been assaulted in the final days of those protests. This is ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. The Utah County Commission is looking to make Bridalveil Falls safer, so they're proposing a land swap between the county and the U.S. Forest Service. Commissioner Amelia Powers-Gardner explained the deal on Inside Sources.
So what we've looked for is a land swap. And we're looking to swap some land that the county owns that's kind of at the top of the mountain that people don't have real access to. It's land that we own, but there's really not a lot we can do with it, and it's not, people don't visit it regularly. We want to swap that and give that to the Forest Service so that they can maintain the forest there. We would take the land at the bottom of the fall, and we would keep it maintained and safe for visitors.
Gardner says the falls are beautiful, but not as safe as they could be.
Bridalveil Falls, as you have alluded to, is really a jewel of our state, and it is the jewel of Utah County. And we've been in the process of working to preserve Bridalveil Falls and keep it open and accessible to the public for several years now. And as part of this process, we did extensive public surveys and said, what do you love about Bridalveil Falls? What do you wish we had better at Bridalveil Falls? What could be improved? And one of the most common improvements that were recommended is the area at the foot of the falls. All that area is currently owned by Utah County, but there's a trail there. And as families sit to visit the falls, they're sitting or standing along an active Provo River trail that has e-bikes and longboards and rollerblades and regular pedal bikes going up and down at high speeds. And it's almost like you're playing a game of Frogger.
They found a solution, but it was more complicated than they anticipated.
What we wanted to do and what the public feedback was is to create a bridge that brings that wheeled traffic out of the way of being right at the foot of the falls so that we can enjoy those falls. The problem we came into is the best place to put that bridge happens to be land that is owned by the Forest Service. So we asked them, hey, we will build it, we will maintain it. We have a commitment to keep the falls open and accessible for our people. Can we build a bridge here? And they said, not a chance. And we said, okay, can we buy the land? And they said, well, that would take an act of Congress. And we said, challenge accepted, and called Congressman Kennedy.
Gardner says Congressman Mike Kennedy was the one to propose the land swap. Negotiations will continue in the meantime. New KSL News Time, 12:49. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Here's Ricky Meese.
Salt Lake City PD are clearing an earlier auto pedestrian crash, possible injuries. This is in the downtown area, 200 south at 1500 east. Salt Lake County freeways looking pretty good right now, and it's good speeds throughout. But we do have slow speeds with the road work in Davis County, southbound I-15, Kaysville to Farmington. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast looking at a 94 today, partly cloudy skies, and just a 20% chance, a sliver of a chance to see a shower, a little breezy. 95 tomorrow, sunshine. Up to 97 on Saturday. How about Sunday? Father's Day, 98, hot and breezy. Partly cloudy skies. Keeping it partly cloudy with a breeze, 96 on Monday. Tuesday, cooler. We like it. 90 degrees, a little breezy. And 92, mostly sunny by Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 88 and mostly sunny in Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
I am down 50 pounds in 11 weeks, and this program works. The pounds melt off. It's amazing.
I let go of 50 pounds. It felt unreal. I was so proud of myself.
Get in the best shape of your life with Soda Weight Loss.
Just 3 weeks in, and pounds are dropping off very quickly. I am down 26 pounds in 3 weeks.
Summer is right around the corner.
Your summer body starts right here because Soda's summer savings are on.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight without drugs, without hunger, and the weight stays off.
I tried other things, came to Soda, just amazing.
I started on Soda 8 months ago, and I have released 80 pounds now.
Summer savings, stunning results, only at Soda Weight Loss. Get started now at SodaWeightLoss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night I was there for opening night of 12 Angry Men at Hale Center Theater. When Mark Dietlein introduced the opening night performance, he said, boy, you know, we rarely present something like this at Hale Center Theater. It is a true drama, and Mark was absolutely right. The angst you feel, the prejudice you feel, the despair almost, and even the heartbreak of a father concerned about a son, it all goes into the deliberation of this jury that is going to decide whether a man lives or dies. And unfolding on the stage, we see what one person can do. 12 Angry Men, you've got to see it at Hale Center Theater. Wonderful performances are underway right now at Hale Center Theater. Get your tickets. Go to hct.org. And don't miss 12 Angry Men at Hale Center Theater. It is a true drama. Go to hct.org.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
The FBI is looking at moving their training center.
The FBI has famously been training agents at Quantico since the 1930s. The academy itself opened there in 1972. But sources tell ABC News the FBI is considering moving its main training facility to Huntsville, Alabama, as part of a broader effort to shift federal law enforcement resources out of the D.C. area. In light traffic, Quantico is about an hour's drive south of FBI and Justice Department headquarters.
That's ABC's Stephen Portnoy reporting. Watching Utah's money, there are a few positions at Walmart that rival managers when it comes to hourly wages. USA Today says it's cake decorators. The average pay is at $19.25 an hour. The company says it decorates over 150,000 cakes a week across their stores. Computer software company Oracle shares were up 8% in extended trading. It came after news that the company did better than expected. Revenue was up 11% year over year. And Google is offering buyouts to employees across several key divisions. It's the latest round of cost cutting coming ahead of a court decision that could order a breakup of its internet empire. The offers were made to staff in Google search, advertising, research, and engineering units, according to the Wall Street Journal. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 72 points, then the S&P is up 17, and the NASDAQ is up 34. We're also following a shakeup at FEMA today.
There is another key departure from FEMA. The head of the agency's division in charge of the government's response to storms is reportedly resigning. Jeremy Greenberg is a career staffer who oversees the coordination of rescue teams. President Trump this week said he plans to phase out FEMA after this hurricane season, giving more control to the states.
ABC's Rhiannon Alley reporting.
Peyton was a very kind and giving person. At 15 years old, he sustained life-threatening injuries from a motorcycle accident that took his life. His family felt like Peyton would want to save others and made the decision to donate his organs. Because of their generosity, his organs saved a 2-year-old girl, a teenage boy, and others that were desperate in need of life-saving organs. Go to donorconnect.life and read about what it takes to become a donor. Did you know many people think that they're too old or not in good enough health to be a donor? Anyone can be a donor. If you were told that it could save the life for someone close to you, or even a stranger, would you donate? Finding out more on why you should become a donor is easy. DonorConnect.life can walk you through the process and what it takes to simply sign up. Check yes to become a donor when you renew your driver's license. Give hope. Heal life. DonorConnect.life.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Imagine struggling with a slow, outdated computer that takes forever to load anything, that randomly freezes up and is filled with viruses and malware.
Now picture yourself with a powerful desktop or laptop that runs smoothly and efficiently, making your work and entertainment seamless. Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
KSL News Time, 12:58. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Here's Ricky Meese.
Again, Salt Lake City PD and emergency crews working on the final clearing of a crash. It may have involved a pedestrian at 200 South, 1500 East, and slowdowns remain as you're traveling southbound I-15 due to construction from the Kaysville Ponds down to Lagoon at Farmington in Farmington at Park Lane. Garden City, Utah in beautiful Bear Lake presents Little Texas on July 5th at Garden City Heritage Park. Games, live music, and a fireworks show, all free. Visit bearlake.org for details. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And it's going to be more of the same in the next couple days, with it ramping up even up to 98 degrees by Father's Day. Right now it's 88 and mostly sunny in Salt Lake City, Ogden 84, Provo 87.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio,
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Protests ramping up around the country and a growing possibility of similar events here in Utah.
At this point, we are not anticipating any violence. We will be prepared for it if needed. We will have our teams ready to go. And first and foremost, we are fully committed to protecting the First Amendment rights of everyone.
The time is 1 o'clock on Thursday, June 12th. It's midday. I'm Heather Peterson, filling in for Maria Shilaos. Coming up, what police are doing to prepare in case peaceful protests become dangerous riots. Also this hour.
This is a phenomenal opportunity from an economic, travel, and cultural perspective for us.
The 10th international destination now open for direct travel from the Salt Lake City International Airport. But first, our top local stories. Southern Utah's drought conditions have gotten better in the last week, despite the fact they've been dealing with triple-digit heat. KSL News Radio's Adam Small explains why.
It's because of all the rain and thunderstorms that have hit the area over the last couple of weeks. According to the latest readings from the U.S. Drought Monitor, the overall amount of the state's land that's in a drought is still going up, but the amount of land that's in severe or extreme drought, which is predominantly southern Utah, has gone down. Though hydrologists tell me they expect that favorable trend to reverse between now and July with the hot, dry weather on tap.
Experts say there's a good chance southern Utah could get a strong monsoon season, which could help limit the drought's severity. Our top national story from ABC News. Local hospital officials in India confirm one person on board the Air India plane that crashed has survived. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner with 242 passengers and crew on board was heading to London when it crashed shortly after takeoff.
We see that just from the moment of liftoff, that plane struggles to get into the air and climb higher, just reaching about 625 feet before it crashed. They're going to be looking at the data that was put into the computers. They're going to be looking at the engines. Was this possible fuel contamination? Everything is on the table right now.
ABC News transportation correspondent Sam Sweeney reporting. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the Pentagon has contingency plans to invade Greenland if necessary. His comments came during a congressional hearing today where he refused to answer repeated questions about his use of a signal chat to discuss military operations. When he was asked if the Pentagon has plans to take Greenland or Panama by force if necessary, Hegseth responded that, quote, "Our job at the Defense Department is to have plans for any contingency." Israel is reportedly considering taking military action against Iran in the coming days. President Trump was asked today by ABC if that was imminent.
President Trump said Thursday that an Israeli strike on Iran is not imminent, but
it looks like it's something that could very well happen.
Three sources familiar with the situation say Israel is considering taking military action against Iran in the coming days. The president was asked if he was trying to convince Prime Minister Netanyahu not to attack, given that the U.S. is in talks with Iran over its nuclear program, with meetings scheduled for this weekend.
As long as I think there is an agreement, I don't want them going in because I think that would blow it. Might help it, actually, but it also could blow it.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 91 points, the S&P up 20, and the NASDAQ is currently up 48. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Here's Ricky Meese.
Delays remain southbound I-15, Kaysville into Farmington, but we've also had some slowing southbound I-215's westbound up at the north end, and it looks to be because of some vehicles now moved over to the right shoulder at 12th North. Don't miss the 91st annual Ute Stampede Rodeo with Extreme Bulls on July 9th through 10th through 12th. Athletes and explosive entertainment combined with music, food, and multiple days of family fun. Visit UteStampedeRodeo.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Highs in the 90s today and a small chance of rain through the afternoon. Right now, it's 88 and mostly sunny in the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Join Mike Stevens of Capital Wealth Advisors for Retire Right Radio, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. That's Retire Right Radio with Mike Stevens, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent from Alpine Home Medical, and I'm humbled to win Utah's Best of State for 2025 for the 15th year in a row. After 28 years, we're all about you. Over 1,700 5-star Google reviews and a 4.8 customer satisfaction score to prove it. We'll keep working hard for you. I've spent this year advocating with lawmakers for better Medicare reimbursement, ensuring you always have the best access to medical supplies you need. From Idaho Falls to St. George, our 11 stores are your home for comfort. When you hear Alpine Home Medical, think of that best of state experience every single time. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better.
Stay fresher under pressure.
Protests in Los Angeles continue today, and more demonstrations are planned across the U.S. That includes here in Utah. Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson. Maria Shilaos is off today. Several events and posts have been circulating online announcing additional protests against ICE raids. Brent Weisberg with the Salt Lake City Police told KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera they have plans in place to make sure any protests or rallies taking place here remain peaceful.
At this point, we are not anticipating any violence. We will be prepared for it if needed. We will have our teams ready to go. And first and foremost, we are fully committed to protecting the First Amendment rights of everyone. We know as a police department, it's our duty to make sure that people can lawfully and safely express their views, to gather in public, and to engage in peaceful protest.
But still, they're keeping an eye on what's happening across the country to gauge what could happen here over the next few days.
We've been monitoring the events that have been happening across the country in major U.S. cities to include Los Angeles, New York, Portland, Seattle. Some of those events have required law enforcement intervention due to unlawful behavior. And while there's no information indicating any imminent civil unrest in Salt Lake City, we are going to take what we are seeing in those other cities and that time that we have right now to prepare to fully to our advantage, to make sure that we are doing everything we can to mitigate any impacts to our community and to also prioritize the safety of community members and our officers who are going to be in the field.
Earlier this week, Utah Governor Spencer Cox gave the members of his monthly news conference with PBS Utah a message for those who want to demonstrate.
I want Utah to be the best place in the United States to protest. I want to do everything possible to protect the right of those who want to protest. We had protests on Saturday, this past Saturday or Sunday. I guess the protests were on Sunday. We're going to have apparently additional protests potentially on this Saturday, and I think that's wonderful. That's also part of the Constitution, the ability for people to show up and express their views and do so publicly, the right to assemble. I also want Utah to be the worst possible place to riot. The minute you start to spray paint the Capitol, the second you start, you implement violence or property destruction, we will arrest you and we will hold you accountable, and we will break up the disturbance that is happening. We are going to be over prepared, and just a word of warning to anybody who is thinking about any type of violence or chaos or property damage or vandalism. It will not happen here, and you will be held accountable. So if you want to protest, this is a great place to protest. If you want to do that, go to California.
Weisberg says Utah has a long history of peaceful protests, and they don't expect that to change as we see possible demonstrations over the next few days. In just 60 seconds, we'll dig into the political ramifications of these protests and the Trump administration's response to them. Stay with us.
Behold, 'tis I, Queen Trustworth, sentinel for seniors amongst the knights of Scamelot, here to give thee warning. Scams and fraud are on the rise in Utah, and seniors are especially under siege. Be wary of unsolicited texts, phone calls, and salespeople asking for personal or financial information, and never send money to someone thou hast only met online. If thou hast doubts, talk to someone thou trusteth and get educated at scams.utah.gov.
An Australian hiker travels to the American West to walk a wilderness trail.
Wasn't afraid to be out on his own.
But Eric Robinson vanished in the high Uinta Mountains.
I remember thinking, Eric, what were you thinking, mate?
I'm Dave Cawley. Join me on my podcast, Uinta Triangle, where I travel the world to answer the question, what happened to Eric Robinson? Follow Uinta Triangle. That's UINTA Triangle on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
As the anti-ICE protests continue in Los Angeles, the movement is growing in other cities and around the country. It's prompting mixed reactions from Democrats. Some are going after President Trump, like California Governor Gavin Newsom. Others are taking a more calm approach. How might these responses after the future of lawmakers in areas where protests are happening? Start Here host Brad Milkey catches up on the latest.
It's impossible to understand the protests in Los Angeles right now without understanding the shift that has taken place in immigration arrests over the last couple of weeks.
These actions were targeted operation focused on violent criminal aliens, TDA members, and those who are a threat to our public safety.
Remember, initially, Immigration and Customs Enforcement had a pretty clear mission to crack down on migrants with criminal records who'd crossed the border illegally. And while there were disputes on how best to handle these arrests, there was a pretty broad consensus among Americans that violent criminals who cross the border illegally can and probably should be deported. Well, then, the Department of Homeland Security told its officers that they weren't arresting enough people. They had to get their numbers even higher. The only way to do that is to start arresting people who have jobs, who go to school, who are part of the fabric of American communities. Some cities and states led by Democrats publicly condemned these increasingly aggressive raids.
The vast majority have no criminal backgrounds. They're just working in this country, honestly.
And as all of this escalated, so did the protests. The Trump administration doubled down even further, deploying active duty troops, not just to protect buildings, but to protect ICE agents. We have now seen Marines with powerful rifles actively accompanying agents on raids. So there's a real question. Is the enforcement arriving to deal with out-of-control protests, or are protests growing because of the continued escalation by law enforcement? Well, yesterday it became clear that for all the talk about Los Angeles, these protests are growing in other cities as well. From San Francisco to Chicago to New York, we are seeing more conflict with federal officers, not less, and that is quickly putting lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to the test.
So how have lawmakers around the country responded to the protests? ABC political director Avery Harper shares her thoughts with Brad Milkey.
In California, we've seen both Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles and California Governor Gavin Newsom be vocal in their anti-Trump rhetoric around these protests.
When you start deploying federalized troops on the heels of these raids, it is a drastic and chaotic escalation and completely unnecessary.
Trump is pulling a military dragnet all across Los Angeles.
What we've seen both of them do is condemn the violence of these protests, but also be sure to condemn what they have described as an overreach by the Trump administration by sending a militarized force to the streets of Los Angeles in an answer to these protests that we've seen all of these images of.
His agents are arresting dishwashers, gardeners, day laborers, and seamstresses.
For Governor Newsom in particular, he has really taken up the mantle of being the chief arch rival, the chief foil to the Trump administration on this issue.
He should only be happy I sent in the military, because if I didn't send them in, you would have had a problem there, the likes of which we haven't seen in a long time.
We saw him give remarks on Tuesday night that almost felt a little bit campaign-like.
He again chose escalation. He chose more force. He chose theatrics over public safety.
Talking about Donald Trump as a danger to democracy, that the things that we were seeing on the streets of Los Angeles, that they had risks far outside the city of Los Angeles and the state of California, that there was risk to cities and states across the country if things are allowed to continue in the way that they have.
Trump, he's not opposed to lawlessness and violence as long as it serves him. What more evidence do we need than January 6th?
Gavin Newsom, because of the fact that he is term limited, he is not running for re-election during midterms in 2026. That gives him a special freedom to really go after Trump in a way that other governors who may throw their hat in the ring and start a presidential bid, they're not able to speak as freely as he is.
It's interesting because, we're used to President Trump sort of taking people on very personal terms. And often you see a local official be like, well, I'm going to try to remain above the fray. Gavin Newsom was very much leaning into the smack talk. But, Avery, are there concerns for Democrats? Like when you got masked men standing on top of burnt-out cars holding Mexican flags? I'm not a political expert, but I assume that's not usually the guy you'd want as the standard bearer for your cause.
Right. And we've seen some Democrats tread very carefully in terms of their messaging around these protests.
We encourage everyone who is exercising that right to do so peacefully.
There was a statement that Democratic governors across the country signed in support of Gavin Newsom, but it was very carefully worded to ensure that it condemned the violence and some of the destruction of property that was seen on Los Angeles' streets, right? And we've seen other Democratic leaders in places like San Francisco. Mayor Lurie there made sure to center public safety in his message about similar protests that they've seen on San Francisco streets.
We will not tolerate violent and destructive behavior, and we will never tolerate violence directed at law enforcement or city workers.
He has also made sure to say that those who violate the law, those who damage property, that those folks will be arrested, but also made sure to address some of the issues that have drawn protesters out to the streets.
I know there is fear and anxiety in our communities. As mayor, I will always protect your right to make your voices heard peacefully.
But he's done so very carefully in that he refrains from mentioning Donald Trump's name. And I've been talking to mayors in cities across the country, and many of them are looking to take a more measured approach to how they address the possibility of federal intervention on their city's streets.
Oh, because like they don't want to get the military on their streets, probably, too.
That may happen whether they want for it to happen or not. The fact is that they have to be prepared for the possibility of federal intervention, be it militarized force in the form of the military coming to their cities, ICE raids, or even trying to address the possibility or the threats of revoking of federal funds, right? Which is often a concern that I hear when I speak to mayors and state officials in their concerns about how they address the actions of the Trump administration.
A lot of times politicians are looking forward to the next election, and that tends to drive a lot of their decisions. Both Republican and Democratic lawmakers are keeping close eyes on these protests to see how it may affect them in 2026.
How much are all these folks on both sides, I guess, thinking about elections either next year or the year after or the year after that?
Right. Listen, I think that this is a fight that the Republican Party more broadly, including Trump himself and the Trump administration, is willing to wage because they believe it's a winning issue for them.
What you're witnessing in California is a full-blown assault on peace, on public order, and on national sovereignty carried out by rioters bearing foreign flags.
They believe that because they won up and down the ballot in November, that voters gave them a mandate to address immigration, and they feel like they are doing so by escalating some of these deportation efforts that we've seen.
The president's decision to call the National Guard troops to Los Angeles was premature, and the decision to deploy active duty Marines as well is downright escalatory.
For Democrats, anti-Trump sentiment is a mobilizing factor. It is a unifying force for a big tent party that has struggled really to find its footing after the losses back in November. And so there's risk for Republicans in all this, too, that they could be creating a rallying cry for Democratic voters and those who may have been on the fence about them before in having now an issue to get behind.
And that's why Democrats are condemning violence, but they're also trying to make it clear to these constituents they believe the Trump administration is to blame for escalating all this. So the tightrope walk continues. Avery Harper, our political director, thank you so much.
Thank you.
ABC's Brad Milkey and Avery Harper there. After the break, we'll get to the latest updates on the deadly Air India crash from overnight. A short time ago, we learned that one person has miraculously survived. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
We do have good speeds on all of your Salt Lake County freeways, but in Davis County, it's still a slow drive southbound I-15 as you go to Kaysville and into Farmington. A huge spike in your water bill. You might have a leak in your culinary or secondary water line. Utah Utility Pro repairs stop and waste and pressure release valves. Visit UtahUtilityPro.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
I'm Holly Richardson.
My name is Greg Skortis. Listen for the new Inside Sources.
One of the things that people don't realize about Utah politics, at the state legislative level, there's a lot of camaraderie and a lot of working together for the good of Utah. Inside Sources, weekdays from 9 to noon.
This is a show that a person could listen and learn something every day and say, you know what, I didn't know that this morning at 9, but I know it now. Inside Sources.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
Have you ever noticed when you find something that really works, that you really want to tell people about it, you're so excited about it? That's why I want to talk to you about Salt Lake City Fat Loss. This is a great program that has helped me lose more than 40 pounds. I lost 25 pounds of it in the first 60 days, and many people lose up to a pound per day. The reason it works is because it's an all-natural program that uses a simple combination of foods that burns off that stored fat very quickly. And that means you stay motivated because you can see the difference. You also don't have to worry about any sort of side effects because there are no injections, surgery, or medications, just that simple combination of foods. Plus, it's not as expensive as other programs because there are no prepackaged meals or other products that you're required to buy. Just go to slcfatloss.com to learn how you can save $200 now or call 801-450-1882, slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
When was the last time your vacation was living the art of adventure? Discover it in Cedar City, Utah. Towering red rocks, epic trails, summer events, and world-class drama at the Tony Award-winning Utah Shakespeare Festival starting June 17th with Macbeth, Antony and Cleopatra, and more. Marvel at nature's masterpieces with just a short drive to Zion, Bryce Canyon, Cedar Breaks, and Kolob Canyons. Discover Utah's earliest artists at the Parowan Gap Petroglyph site. Head up to Bryan Head for chairlift rides that deliver endless high-elevation views. Wildflower Meadows, topped off with ATV and downhill biking trails. Be starstruck by the skies at Cedar Breaks National Monument. Browse Cedar City's unique shops and indulge in savory bites. Come experience the art of adventure around every turn in Cedar City. Start planning your vacation right now at visitcedarcity.com.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does your job require you to be on your feet all day? Teachers, postal carriers, salespeople, and restaurant staff. Many of us need our feet to get us through the day. Hi, this is Mike with the Good Feet store, and I'd like you to hear from Donna. She's a nurse and a real customer of the Good Feet store who wanted to share her story.
Oh, I have to tell you, I have struggled with pain in my feet. I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis. With the 3-step program, it really fits to your lifestyle. I work in a hospital. I'm a registered nurse, so being on my feet, walking throughout the hospital during the day, I am free from any type of pain. And after working a 12-hour shift, I go home and my feet do not hurt.
Whether you're a nurse or anyone wanting to enjoy work without your feet getting in the way, come see us at the Good Feet store.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Schedule your free test walk at goodfeet.com.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson. Maria's off today. Following a devastating plane crash in India overnight, one person has miraculously survived. The investigation into that Air India crash with more than 200 people on board is now ongoing. ABC foreign correspondent Maggie Rulli is in London with more.
In many ways, this is unbelievable. I don't think anyone was expecting this news, but a local hospital in Ahmedabad has confirmed to ABC News they're currently treating one person who was on board that aircraft. They are a survivor. Right now, though, the condition is unknown. But again, when you look at that video, just the fact that one person right now is being treated in a hospital, there are no words for it. We're getting new details that are coming in from this crash, Diane. We know that according to flight radar, the airplane sent its last distress signal just seconds after takeoff and then crashed. Moments later, it crashed into that densely packed area of the city just outside the airport. It crashed part of it directly into an area that was part of a medical college, so there were students and their families in this housing. We know that when you look at these images, you can see why eyewitnesses have told local reports that it's shocking, it's horrific. You can see debris and even dead bodies scattered around the area. More and more eyewitnesses are coming forward describing this scene as just chaos of thick smoke in the air, essentially what's a fireball rising into the sky. Because we have to remember, this flight was taking off for London, a 9-hour journey. So it was full of fuel. Now all that fuel was really fueling this fireball on the scene. Rescue workers have been brought in immediately. Local police saying all rescue workers were given to this effort. People going through, racing to the scene. We know heavy machinery has been brought in looking for people potentially trapped in that rubble. Right now, still a fairly active situation.
And there are still so many unanswered questions right now. ABC transportation reporter Sam Sweeney has that perspective.
This investigation is going to be wide-ranging. We simply do not know what happened in this. Will that survivor be able to explain something that happened on board? Did he see something go into the engine? Was he looking out the window? All of that is certainly possible. But we also have a lot of video coming in from the takeoff. We see that just from the moment of liftoff, that plane struggles to get into the air and climb higher, just reaching about 625 feet before it crashed. They're going to be looking at the data that was put into the computers. They're going to be looking at the engines. Was this possible fuel contamination? Everything is on the table right now.
ABC News contributor and former Marine Corps fighter pilot Stephen Ganyard says the plane that crashed, the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, hasn't had a deadly crash like this the entire time it's been in service.
The 787 is an extraordinarily safe airplane. It has all sorts of things on board in the computers that prevent human error. It's a great airplane to fly, extraordinary safety record. And so you look at this, as Sam said, it struggles to get into the air, and it didn't stall, because in its actual stall, the nose comes down and it crashes in more of a vertical. So this just sort of mushed in. They were gliding. They got to about 400 feet above the ground and they were gliding. Why? For some reason, those engines were not producing the thrust required to put that airplane in the air. Why would that happen? Sam said maybe it could be fuel contamination. But even, Diane, when the airplane is certified, they load it up to its maximum weight and they shut one engine down, and that airplane can take off at its maximum weight with just one engine. So when a two-engine aircraft loses the other engine, it's perfectly safe. The airplane is designed to be able to fly on one engine. So why it didn't, it's an absolute mystery.
We'll continue to track this story and bring you the latest updates as we get them. It's 1:30, midday at KSL News Radio. Hello, I'm Heather Peterson. Some of the stories we're watching this hour: drought conditions in southern Utah actually improving over the last week, and direct flights to Asia now an option from Salt Lake City. Also, KSL traffic. Ricky, what's going on?
We have had a little bit of busy traffic on southbound I-15, approaching 106 South at the Southtown Mall. We'll keep an eye on that, but the delays you can just plan for. That's southbound I-15 in Davis County. Heather?
News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A Homeland Security briefing in Los Angeles on the protests against ICE raids ending with a U.S. Democratic senator being forcibly removed.
I want to say thank you.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was wrapping up her introduction at an LA news conference when Democratic Senator Alex Padilla stepped forward and tried to interject.
Do this. Also,
Agents pushed the senator out of the room, put him on the ground, and placed him in handcuffs. Noem later told reporters,
I think everybody in America would agree that that wasn't appropriate.
Back here in Washington, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said the scene made him sick to his stomach.
We need immediate answers to what the hell went on.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
At least 246 people are dead, including 5 on the ground after the Air India plane crashed today in northwestern India. 1 person survived and is hospitalized. Tensions building in the Middle East, with Israel signaling it could take military action against Iran. President Trump calling for U.S. personnel in the region to leave. This is ABC News.
Now for KSL's top local stories. An Arizona jury found Lori Vallow Daybell guilty of conspiracy to commit the murder of her ex-nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreaux. Prosecutors accused Lori and her late brother, Alex Cox, of planning to kill Boudreaux back in October 2019. They presented evidence in court saying Cox drove a Jeep that belonged to Lori's deceased husband, Charles Vallow, from Idaho to Gilbert, Arizona, and then shot him at Boudreaux's outside his home. The judge set the sentencing for July 25th. The Salt Lake International Airport has a new direct flight to South Korea, and it's expected to bring big business to the state. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
The airport now has 10 international destinations.
80% of the world's population is now within one stop of Salt Lake City, Utah.
The airport's executive director, Bill Wyatt, says it couldn't have been done without the recent airport expansions. The direct flight also opens up the state to more than 50 destinations throughout Asia, expanding economic and cultural exchanges and opportunities. It also happens to be just in time for the 2034 Olympic Games, where we could see guests from all over the world. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
The Utah County Commission is looking to trade some land with the U.S. Forest Service so they can create a bridge at Bridalveil Falls to separate hikers from the road.
So what we've looked for is a land swap. And we're looking to swap some land that the county owns that's kind of at the top of the mountain that people don't have real access to. We want to swap that and give that to the Forest Service so that they can maintain the forest there. We would take the land at the bottom of the fall and we would keep it maintained and safe for visitors.
Commissioner Amelia Powers Gardner tells Inside Sources that a recent survey showed this was one of the fixes hikers wanted most to see. Other local stories KSL is following. An 80-year-old woman is dead and a 28-year-old severely injured after a tree branch fell on top of them in Perry. Police say this happened around 5 yesterday afternoon in Perry Park. When emergency responders got there, they gave the 80-year-old CPR, but she passed away. The younger woman was taken to the hospital in Brigham City in serious condition. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 60 points, the S&P up 16, and the NASDAQ is up 32. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Here's Ricky Meese.
We've definitely have had some busy and slower traffic. You're moving, you're just not moving at the posted limit. Southbound I-15 in Sandy as you're approaching 106 South. The closer you get to the mall, the more bunched up it gets, but then it clears out pretty quickly, so no major issues at this time. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Another warm day here in Utah. The high expected to get to 94 today, and the trend continues through the weekend. Father's Day is looking up to 98 degrees. Right now, it's 88 degrees in Salt Lake City and mostly sunny from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Your electric bill is going to be higher for summer, but not if you get new windows from Advanced Window Products. State-of-the-art double-pane windows and insulated frames, any style, any color, from a company that's been building them right here in Salt Lake City for 39 years. Not only are you buying local, but you're cutting out the middleman because they're the factory. You save 30, even 40% on your new windows, and you get a lifetime guarantee from a trusted local company. If there's a problem 5 years from now, they come right over and get things straight. And right now, you can save even more. If you call Advanced Windows for a quote, they'll give you an extra $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Advanced Windows offers buy now, pay later. They have 60-month 0% financing. They always work out affordable payments, plus $2,500 off. So get your new windows for summer. Make the call now, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or you can go to advancedwindows.com.
Imagine waking up every morning with a smile you're proud of. No more hiding, no more pain. Stubbs Dental Implant Center, Utah's Best of State winner for 3 years in a row, has helped thousands of people ditch the dentures and say goodbye to missing or broken teeth. Their expert team specializes in giving you a permanent, natural-looking smile with dental implants that feel and function just like real teeth. With over 2,000 five-star Google reviews, their patients say it best.
Dental implants gave me my life back. I feel confident again. I feel like I can be myself.
There was no way I was getting dentures. Getting dental implants from Stubbs Dental has been the best decision of my life.
Let the expert team at Stubbs Dental help you take the first step to changing your life with dental implants. Schedule your complimentary consultation today, a $350 value, absolutely free. Visit StubbsDental.com today. That's StubbsDental.com. StubbsDental.com.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson. Maria Shilaos is off today. The weather is hot here, and especially down in southern Utah, where highs are consistently hitting 100 degrees or more. But despite how hot it's been, the drought conditions down there have actually gotten better in the last week. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
More than 80% of Utah's land is currently in some kind of drought status, but the U.S. Drought Monitor has 4 different stages of severity. Most of the state is in stage 1 or moderate drought, but there are also large swaths of the state, primarily in southern Utah, that are in stage 2 and 3, which are severe and extreme drought. Surprisingly enough, though, over the last week, the amount of Utah's land that are in severe and extreme drought have both decreased, despite how hot it's been down there.
Really, over the last 2 weeks, the precipitation that they've received in far southern Utah, especially southwestern Utah, has been much above normal.
Unfortunately, though, National Weather Service hydrologist Glenn Merrill tells me that positive trend is likely going to be short-lived.
We're going to see a lot of evaporative demand on the landscape here over the next week or two, and it looks like those conditions are going to continue through the end of June.
But Merrill says if anything, monsoonal rains could help keep the drought down there at bay. It very well likely won't improve conditions. Here up north right now, much of the Wasatch Front still isn't in any drought status, though much of the valleys are classified as abnormally dry. It's hard to know exactly how things will play out months in advance, but I asked Merrill how confident he was in the theory the rest of the Wasatch Front will be in a drought before the end of the summer.
I'd say trends are leaning in that direction.
And he added, even when we're not in a drought, we have to be preparing for the next one.
Drought is normal in the state, and if drought's normal, then we really need to be diligent about our water use and look into, strong water conservation.
Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
You can see the latest updates and drought map at drought.utah.gov. As reported on Midday yesterday, the federal government has now given the go-ahead for Utah to ban SNAP recipients from using their funds to buy soda. Today, I spoke with State Representative Christian Chevrier about it. She sponsored the original bill.
SNAP is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, so its mission is stated in its name. And sodas, whether they're sugared or diet, contribute to numerous serious health outcomes. They don't align with the mission of SNAP, and yet they are the number one purchase with SNAP dollars, and that's to the tune of millions of dollars annually just in Utah.
She told me why she was motivated to get this bill passed through the legislature during this year's session.
Well, I think it is important for people to understand that taxpayers pay for SNAP, and they pay for it for a specific reason, and that is to help our vulnerable friends and neighbors to be able to have nutrition in a time of need. And I think it's inappropriate for that money to be taken from tax-paying families who are struggling themselves and then spent on products that are harming the individuals who are using them
Opponents like Representative Carol Moss argued this legislative session that it's unfair to discriminate against those who have less money.
I think it's discriminatory in a way that says if you have more money and you don't have to use government assistance, you can buy whatever you want. But if you are dependent on government assistance just to buy food and then say, but you can't buy sodas, don't poor kids have a right to have a soda once in a while? Kids with more money do.
Earlier versions of the bill actually sought to ban candy purchases with SNAP funds as well, but that was removed from the final version that was signed by the governor. SNAP is a federal program, so to officially make these changes, they needed the federal government to sign off on it. That approval was given this week, meaning the ban can officially move forward. It'll take effect on New Year's Day. Taking a look at some national news now, President Trump wants to eliminate the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The latest from News Nation's Xavier Walton.
Well, it certainly is back to the drawing board and a bit unsettling for state and local leaders after President Donald Trump saying he wants to scrap FEMA after the month of November. What he wants to do is he wants to put recovery to disasters back on the states. The plan is to drain FEMA funding and shift emergency response to the states by next year, even pushing them to form mutual aid agreements. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who oversees FEMA, is echoing the president, calling the agency ineffective, saying it needs to go away as it exists. And that sort of sentiment is setting off alarm bells within state and local leadership who believe right now they simply can't function without FEMA if a disaster were to hit. Keep in mind, some places after recent hurricane seasons are still picking up the pieces, still recovering. And then you have to, on top of that, add in wildfires. You have to add in tornadoes as well. That's why some believe that states simply do not have the budget and infrastructure to actually handle something like this. Quite the contrary, though, there is a level of concern that losing FEMA's coordination could lead to chaos. The president believes states are better positioned to handle the disaster response. Texas Governor Greg Abbott agrees, saying Texas is ready. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis supports defending FEMA as well. So again, this wouldn't happen until after hurricane season is over, when November ends. Meantime, already states are coming up with somewhat of a disaster plan of their own, preparing for FEMA to go away. From Dallas, Xavier Walton, News Nation.
Stay with us. Midday continues in just 1 minute.
The wait is almost over. After 2 years of renovation, the perfect downtown lunch spot is now almost open. The Garden Restaurant opens on June 30th. The Garden Restaurant offers a beautifully designed space and deliciously fresh menu. It's close to everything downtown, next to the Temple Square block. If you need something quick and on the go, or to meet a client, friend, or place to relax, the Garden Restaurant offers healthy options like handcrafted sandwiches, soups, unique salads, plus traditional favorites like homemade pot pies and the famous Lion House rolls. The Garden's new look and tasty menu offer something for everyone, featuring dine-in, patio seating, lobby seating, and grab-and-go or quick online ordering. Visit the Garden today. Reimagine space with remarkable taste. Easy street access on the ground floor of the Joseph Smith Memorial Building. Open weekdays 11 to 3. Check out the menu at thegardenslc.com. Fresh flavors, iconic location. The Garden Restaurant, opening next week, June 30th. See you there.
The University of Utah wants to train more doctors in rural Utah. The U is opening a regional campus in St. George.
Utah actually ranks last in the United States in primary care physicians per capita. And as the state's medical school, we're committed to being a part of solving that problem in access to care for Utahns.
Michelle Hoffman is the Senior Associate Dean for the new regional medical campus.
So we have about 21% of our population living in rural parts of our state, and only 11% of our primary care doctors working in those areas. So we have a shortage overall, but it's even worse in our rural areas.
The program will be run by the U, but they're getting support from other organizations in the area to help with facilities and resources for the program.
So it's going to be based in St. George. We have a partnership also with Utah Tech University, where we've already started to establish joint graduate health professional education programs. We have a PA program here, we have a physical therapy program here, and now we're going to bring the MD program down here. Utah Tech will provide support for facilities and student services, and Intermountain Health and other healthcare partners in this community will help us train our students in their clinics, in their clinical spaces in the hospital, And we'll use the Southern Utah region for that training to give them a very broad experience.
She says right now the applications are open. They'll eventually pick 10 med students that are part of that first cohort.
So students can choose, pre-medical students can choose to apply to either this regional campus where we're focused on rural primary care, or the main campus in Salt Lake City where we have our medical school for a long time. So 10 students down here, 125 students up there. Our students then will start in 26, 27, and they'll do their first phase of their education at the University of Utah main campus location in Salt Lake City. And then they'll come to St. George and the Southern Utah region for their clinical training experiences. We're here meeting with Intermountain Health to secure their support as a partner in helping us train our students and produce their future physician workforce.
The U's Q&A page says applicants don't have to be from a rural community, but they take a holistic approach with their admissions. In other news, anyone who's ever needed a translator knows that it can be a bit hard to follow along, especially since everything is delayed. And that's if you can find a translator in general. Now artificial intelligence is getting better at being able to translate in real time. ABC's Mike Dubusky has the details in today's Tech Trends.
From ABC News Tech Trends, the next time you show up to a live event, there's a chance you may be able to hear it in another language.
Our system in real time takes the audio input and then translates it and then makes it available in real time in dozens of different languages.
Dave Deasy is the CMO of Wordly, one of several companies using artificial intelligence to translate live events into different languages. He says it all runs through an app.
They could read the captions in the language they selected, or they could listen to the translated audio.
Most recently, the tech has been used to translate live theater for non-English speaking audiences. But AI in the arts has been hotly debated, with the potential for the tech to displace jobs. But DC doesn't see that happening here.
I think when it comes to AI translation, it's a real example of kind of using AI for good.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
A brand new flight from Salt Lake City to Asia launching today. I'll tell you about it in just a few minutes. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky.
If you're trying to get from Lehigh out to Eagle Mountain, you have delays waiting for you, especially right by Pioneer Crossing and Crossroads Boulevard in Saratoga Springs. Big backups going westbound there. Whipple Service Champions, your cooling, heating, plumbing, drains, and electrical specialist. Whipple that away. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
I am down 50 pounds in 11 weeks, and this program works. The pounds melt off. It's amazing.
I let go of 50 pounds. It felt unreal. I was so proud of myself.
Get in the best shape of your life with Soda Weight Loss.
Just 3 weeks in, and pounds are dropping off very quickly. I am down 26 pounds in 3 weeks.
Summer is right around the corner.
Your summer body starts right here because Soda's summer savings are on.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight without drugs, without hunger, and the weight stays off.
I tried other things, came to soda, just amazing.
I started on soda 8 months ago, and I have released 80 pounds now.
Summer savings, stunning results, only at Soda Weight Loss. Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. For years now, I've been telling you about Connecticut soft water systems that use 2/3 less salt than the others. But I've never told you exactly how they do that. Well, there are several ways, so consider this as part one in a series. Most of the softeners out there use a finicky, hard-to-adjust computer to guesstimate when to cycle, and it errs on the side of cycling too often, which means it'll burn through way too much salt way too soon. Connecticut is different. It has an all-mechanical system that measures the water precisely. No computer, no guesstimating, so it cycles only when needed. The result? Connecticut delivers perfectly soft water 24/7 using minimal salt. So why not save your lower back from carrying the 3 bags of salt when all you need is 1? Call Northern Utah's authorized Connecticut dealer, Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake. Call them now, 801-576-8600, or log on to softwaterutah.com and tell them Doug sent you.
Ever drive a semi before?
I've never even driven before.
Well, step here to go, stomp on that pedal to stop.
It's hard to do something if you don't know what you're doing.
What's the stick for?
Just wiggle it now and then to shift gears.
A Learn and Earn account from Cyprus Credit Union gives teens the resources to practice money management and develop the confidence they'll need when it's time to step out on their own. See how your teen can earn up to $200 with a Learn and Earn account at cypruscu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Honk if you need anything.
Bad driving habits are hard to break, but good driving habits are easy to form, especially when they can lead to a discount on your auto insurance. With Farm Bureau Financial Services, the safer you drive, the more you save. Drivers like you are saving an average of $321 per vehicle. So buckle up, learn more, and find an agent at fbfs.com/save. Individual savings results may vary. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
This is Midday. I'm Heather Peterson in for Maria Shilaos. The Far East is now a little closer thanks to a new direct flight from Salt Lake City to Seoul, South Korea. The inaugural Delta flight took off just a little while ago. Executive Director of the SLC Department of Airports, Bill Wyatt, says it's a great sign that the airport is still growing and that building a whole new airport was a good idea.
This is a really big day for us at the airport, but really for our community, for Seoul. We're going to be introduced to a lot of Utahns over the next millennia, which is probably how long this flight is going to last. I think it's a further validation of the decision that was made so many years ago to build this new airport, because in the old facility, we simply couldn't accommodate either any new service, really, or certainly a plane the size of an Airbus 350, which required us to close really 3 gates, one for the plane and one on each side, so the jet bridges could be moved far enough away that they wouldn't impede the wingtips. So the decision, really back in 2012 to build this new facility is beginning to bear out. And I was just saying to some friends, this flight in particular really puts Salt Lake and Utah on a whole new level.
The Consulate General for the Republic of Korea came to Utah from San Francisco for the ribbon cutting and official send-off. He says that while a vast geographical distance separates South Korea from Utah, our hearts are close together thanks to history.
This is more than just a new route. It's a bridge between two places, rich in natural beauty, innovation, and growing friendship. Although the two regions are geographically far apart, Korea and Utah shared the most critical moment of Korea's history. During the Korean War, over 21 1,500 young men and women from Utah stepped forward to defend the freedom of Republic of Korea. Korea remembers their contribution and sacrifices with deep gratitude, and always we will. That's why today's launch is so special and significant. This direct connection between Salt Lake City and Incheon marks the start of something bigger, stronger ties, closer cooperation, and deeper understanding between Korea and Utah.
There hasn't been a flight between Utah and Asia in more than 15 years. Delta Airlines Managing Director in Salt Lake, Meng Aguirre, says the airline has worked hard to get this route up and running.
In preparation for our Salt Lake Incheon flight, we invited our Korean friends who are operating the Delta station in Incheon Airport. And so they came here. It was their first time in Salt Lake City, and we said, come and see how beautiful our airport is. Of course, they were very impressed, and it was, as we know in Asian culture, coming together in person is the most important of building relationships. And just like other Delta people, we said, stay one more day. And so Mayor Arian and Bill, I had the pleasure of bringing them around, enjoying the food of Salt Lake City downtown, and also visiting Midday, Heber City, Park City, including the Olympic National Park, because they were very interested in 2034 Olympics. It was such a pleasure for me to have them enjoy Salt Lake City, just as I was introduced to Salt Lake City more than a year ago.
Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall says this kind of expansion is a huge deal for the city and the state because it brings the whole world one step closer to Utah.
I think this is significant in two big ways. One is this incredible leveling up that Salt Lake City is doing as of today in connecting as a global international city. 80% of the world's population will be within one flight of Salt Lake City, and that's a big leveling up for us. I think the second big important issue is that Korea and Salt Lake City and the state of Utah have a deep history as people together. From the service of over 20,000 Utahns in the Korean War, we love and honor that connection that we've had together, and now we get to see each other in an easier and more convenient way.
Mayor Mendenhall says this new route is also special because of the special anniversaries of both Delta and the Salt Lake City Airport.
Congratulations to Delta Airlines on 100 years. Salt Lake City International is 105 years old this year. We have a long history together, and it's great to find a new way to connect.
The flights will take roughly 13 hours to get from SLC to South Korea and about 11 and a half for the return trip. The plane being used holds more than 300 people. The new flights help travelers avoid having to connect in Seattle, Los Angeles, Minneapolis. Joining me now to talk about this is Midday executive producer Andy Cupp. Andy, tell me, have you booked your tickets yet?
Not yet, but I will be checking on to it because even if you're not interested in Korea, I have Korean family members. My uncle served a mission in Korea, so I do have Korean connections, but just being able to get that much closer to everything in Asia, or really everything in Asia, I think is a great opportunity for us here in Salt Lake City, and especially on Delta that's been such a good partner here and, in helping to build the hub and in helping to really expand things. I think it's a really great opportunity. And I mean, as somebody who had flown through the old airport many, many, many times, I understand what Bill's saying there. This would not have worked in the old airport, in the way that things were set up, in the way the gates were set up. So this is an exciting thing, not only just for the opportunities and the possibilities for us here in Salt Lake, but even just to be like, this airport, for all of the headache and the complaining and the construction over the last many 10 years now, it's worth it. And so I'm excited for it. And yeah, I'll take a look and see if I can book my tickets pretty soon.
I'm excited. Yeah, lots of new opportunities. Thanks, Andy.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
High temperatures this weekend, prompting warnings for those thinking of hiking in Utah's great outdoors.
If you look at the weather and you see triple digits, a general rule, I would just recommend not going out and hiking because generally no amount of hydration that you can give yourself, especially if you're starting when you start hiking, can keep you hydrated in those conditions.
The time is 2 o'clock on Thursday, June 12th. It's midday. I'm Heather Peterson, filling in for Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll take a look at why search and rescue incidents due to heat are on the rise. Also this hour,
this is a growing problem because we're growing as a population.
Elder abuse on the rise in Utah. We have tips to protect your older loved ones. But first, our top stories. A Payson man has been charged with exhibition and reckless driving after he was accused of driving on I-15 going over 140 miles per hour in Utah County.
The Highway Patrol who spotted the 21-year-old driver says not only was this guy going 142 miles per hour, he didn't have his headlights on as he tried to ditch the trooper and take an exit. Now, this all happened last month, and it was just before 2 a.m. Court documents say the trooper eventually caught up to the guy and booked him into the Utah County Jail. He's now facing a list of both felony and misdemeanor charges.
KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson reporting. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. California Democratic Senator Alex Padilla was forcibly removed from a Homeland Security news conference and placed in handcuffs this afternoon. Secretary Kristi Noem later told reporters that she spoke with Padilla for about 10 to 15 minutes and does not expect him to be charged.
The incident lasted only a few seconds. As Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was speaking, the California Democrat stepped forward.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla.
Officers immediately grabbed him, forced him from the room, put him on the ground, and placed him in handcuffs. Here in Washington, fellow Democratic senators voiced their extreme outrage. A Noem spokeswoman said Padilla engaged in disrespectful political theater, adding, Secret Service thought he was an attacker. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
The House is expected to vote on a bill to advance the cuts to federal government that were recommended by DOJ. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he thinks it'll pass.
I believe Mr. Baker's going to be just fine, but we'll see. We think we have the votes. We're going ahead with it.
The cuts in the bill would be to foreign aid programs and public broadcasting. Other national news, KSL is following. At least one person has survived a plane crash in northwest India. A passenger plane was headed to London with more than 240 people on board. ABC News transportation correspondent Sam Sweeney has more on what happened before the crash.
This was not a nosedive. This plane had just taken off. We've seen videos circulating on social media showing it almost looks like it's landing. It's coming down at roughly 500 feet per second on a glide scope, so not a nosedive. The landing gear was still down. This signifies some sort of loss of power. And of course, we now know that the captain did make some sort of a Mayday call, but then that was it.
We'll continue to bring you the very latest on the crash. Your money at this moment, they're creeping up a little bit. Dow is up 101, the S&P is up 23, and the NASDAQ is up 46 points. Traffic and weather together now brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have crews working on a crash downtown at 9th West, 600 North. There may be injuries involved with that one. And unusual delays that's likely due to road work in Utah County. This is as you're going westbound, approaching Pioneer Crossing and Crossroads Boulevard in Saratoga Springs. Anticipate an extra 5 to 10 minutes minimum to get through that area. Are you fighting a sewer line surprise, or has your barbecue gas line gone rogue? Utah Utility Pro tackles all your plumbing nightmares. Expert repairs, fast service, UtahUtilityPro.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And more of the same today in the next couple days. Temperatures in the 90s, expected to reach 94 today. Father's Day just shy of 100, about 98 degrees. Then we'll see a little bit of a dip to 90 by Tuesday. Right now it's 89 and mostly sunny in Salt Lake City from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GREEN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Are you struggling with pain in your feet, ankles, knees, hips, or lower back? At the Good Feet store, we recommend having high-quality support in all of your shoes. Our personalized arch support system has helped countless people find relief, like Karen. Here is her Good Feet story.
After I decided my pain was too much, and my doctor actually suggested that I do visit the Good Feet store. Pretty amazing when they put the arch supports in your shoe and you walk around and you realize there's not pain and you think, how can this arch support in my shoe make my back pain go away? But it works. And how can it make my knee pain go away? It was incredible.
Come to the Good Feet store today and see what we can do for you. Good Feet arch supports are in stock and available in over 300 different styles and sizes.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Stop in today at the Good Feet store.
The heat continues today. We're expected to get well into the 90s, and the higher temps not expected to come down anytime soon. Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson, filling in for Maria Shilaos. KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says the mercury is going to stay high through the weekend.
We are talking about more heat through the Father's Day weekend. Temperatures only get warmer as we head into Saturday and Sunday.
Nice weather is prompting folks to get outside across the state, and that's creating a more dangerous situation for search and rescue crews, many of which have been called out recently to help people who run out of water and get trapped due to those high temperatures. Washington County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Jacob Paul says triple-digit heat or anything close to that is setting the stage for danger and disaster for people trying to enjoy the outdoors.
If you look at the weather and you see triple digits, a general rule, I would just recommend not going out and hiking because generally no amount of hydration that you can give yourself, especially if you're starting when you start hiking, can keep you hydrated in those conditions. So you're already behind the 8 ball and kind of out of luck if you're not prepared prior to going out, and there's no amount of hydration that you can have while you're out on the trail, even if you do bring a lot of water that can continue to keep you hydrated. So we recommend not going out and hiking in those severe temperatures that we're experiencing right now. If you go out in the mornings, it's still good enough hiking weather, but try to plan accordingly and have your hike finished before it gets into those triple digits.
It's not even officially summer yet, but Sergeant Paul says they've had several situations of people going out into the wilderness not fully prepared for the heat.
We had 3 calls a week and a half ago that were, one of them involved 12 individuals that were all in the same group that were having heat-related symptoms. Another one was 3 in that group. So we had 15 from that, and then another individual by themselves. So 16 a week and a half ago. And then with these, we've had another 5 between these. So it's definitely been busy for us. And as the weather heats up, people still think that it's appropriate to go hiking in these temperatures, and I get it. It's a great area to recreate down here. It's an enjoyable area, but it's a lot hotter than people expect during the middle of the day. So you just need to be able to plan for that.
Sergeant Paul said one man and his son along the Hurricane Trail had to be rescued just yesterday.
It was a male in his early 50s, suffering from severe heat exhaustion. His son, who was a juvenile, ended up calling 911, and we were able to get a good GPS coordinate off of that. They were on the Hurricane Canal Trail, or yeah, right where the canal trail connects with the Hurricane Overlook Trail. And we had responders go to that. Our search and rescue team, Hurricane Valley Fire, and a couple of our deputies responded to that. We're able to make contact with them at their GPS location, which was about a mile from the trailhead. Due to the severity of his heat exhaustion, it was determined that it would be better to get him out via life flight. So life flight was paged out on that one. They responded, were able to land fairly close to where he was, and our rescuers loaded him into the life flight helicopter, and then he was transported via life flight to the hospital.
And that wasn't the only one yesterday. In the span of about 4 hours, search and rescue crews responded to another 2 heat-related situations. In the Snow Canyon area, an entire family had to be rescued.
The juvenile female that was with them was experiencing heat-related symptoms also. They called in wanting help getting her out. The dad was able to hike out a little ways to where he could get better cell phone signal, and then called us. But initially, we didn't have a good GPS coordinate for her. So we responded, set up our incident command there at the trailhead in Snow Canyon, and our search and rescue team members, in conjunction with Santa Clara Ivans fire units, responded to the location of the parties there. She was evaluated, given fluids to hydrate, and then they were loaded in one of our search and rescue team members' Jeeps and transported back to the trailhead, where they were evaluated in the ambulance. The mom was also had some minor heat-related symptoms, but neither of them were bad enough that they all declined medical transport when we got them back to the trailhead and were returned to their vehicle.
Sergeant Paul says that search and rescue teams will respond if you find yourself trapped or in danger, but he says these kinds of situations also put the crews at risk. So if you can avoid going out into the wilderness in the heat of the day, especially when it's 100 degrees or hotter, that would be best for everyone. Stay with us. We'll be back with more on Midday in just 60 seconds.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
People think saving money is hard, but really, it's easy. It's as simple as changing a few spending habits. For free tips on how to save the easy way, check out feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Utah County leaders considering a land swap with the U.S. Forest Service near the Bridalveil Falls. Their goal is to make the trail at the bottom of the falls a little safer. Utah County Commissioner Amelia Powers Gardner spoke to Inside Sources about the proposal this morning.
So what we've looked for is a land swap. And we're looking to swap some land that the county owns that's kind of at the top of the mountain that people don't have real access to. It's land that we own, but there's really not a lot we can do with it, and people don't visit it regularly. We want to swap that and give that to the Forest Service so that they can maintain the forest there. We would take the land at the bottom of the fall, and we would keep it maintained and safe for visitors.
Powers Gardner says they've been looking for ways to keep Bridalveil Falls open while also improving safety for visitors.
Bridalveil Falls, as you have alluded to, is really a jewel of our state, and it is the jewel of Utah County. And we've been in the process of working to preserve Bridalveil Falls and keep it open and accessible to the public for several years now. And as part of this process, We did extensive public surveys and said, what do you love about Bridal Veil Falls? What do you wish we had better at Bridal Veil Falls? What could be improved? And one of the most common improvements that were recommended is the area at the foot of the falls. All that area is currently owned by Utah County, but there's a trail there, and as families sit to visit the falls, they're sitting or standing along an active Provo River trail that has e-bikes and longboards and rollerblades and, regular pedal bikes going up and down at high speeds. And it's almost like you're playing a game of Frogger.
So what exactly is the plan to improve safety? Powers Gardner says it involves building a bridge to help separate some of the traffic.
What we wanted to do and what the public feedback was is to create a bridge that brings that wheeled traffic out of the way of being right at the foot of the falls so that we can enjoy those falls. The problem we came into is the best place to put that bridge happens to be land that is owned by the Forest Service. So we asked them, hey, we will build it, we will maintain it. We have a commitment to keep the falls open and accessible for our people. Can we build a bridge here? And they said, not a chance. And we said, okay, can we buy the land? And they said, well, that would take an act of Congress. And we said, once accepted, and called Congressman Kennedy.
Powers Gardner says the public meeting they held last night to discuss the land swap was overwhelmingly positive. You can hear conversations just like these every weekday morning on the new Inside Sources with Holly Richardson and Greg Skordas. Tune in from 9 a.m. to noon, midday through Friday, right here on KSL News Radio. It might be hot right now, but we're going to talk about skiing after the break. Specifically, how successful was our ski season? The answer in just a few minutes. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Here's Ricky Neese.
We do have a crash in Wasatch County. This is southbound on Highway 40 at the SR 32 junction in Heber. It's been moved to the shoulder. And then also some slowdowns that remain with road work southbound I-15, Kaysville and Farmington. Celebrate freedom in Paris, Idaho. 4th of July Chuck Wagon Breakfast and Parade. On the 5th, a 5K run, junior rodeo, craft vendor fair, and free concert. Visit bearlake.org for details. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The kind of inside scoop you only get from KSL. Editor of Utah Policy, Holly Richardson, a.k.a. Holly on the Hill, and KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas. Greg and Holly make up the new Inside Sources, 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The wait is almost over. After 2 years of renovation, the perfect downtown lunch spot is now almost open. The Garden Restaurant opens on June 30th. The Garden Restaurant offers a beautifully designed space and deliciously fresh menu. It's close to everything downtown next to the Temple Square block. If you need something quick and on the go, or to meet a client, friend, or place to relax, the Garden Restaurant offers healthy options like handcrafted sandwiches, soups, unique salads, plus traditional favorites like homemade pot pies and the famous Lion House rolls. The Garden's new look and tasty menu offers something for everyone, featuring dine-in, patio seating, lobby seating, and grab-and-go or quick online ordering. Visit the Garden today. Reimagine space with remarkable taste. Easy street access on the ground floor of the Joseph Smith Memorial Building. Open weekdays 11 to 3. Check out the menu at thegardenslc.com. Fresh flavors, iconic location. The Garden Restaurant, opening next week, June 30th. See you there.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-471-9773. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-471-9773. 800-471-9773. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-471-9773 or biglou.com. That's 800-471-9773 or biglou.com.
We're following breaking news here at KSL News Radio. The U.S. House has just voted to approve a $9.4 billion spending cut recommended by DOGE. The package targets foreign aid programs and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. The vote was 214 to 212. In local news now that we're firmly into the heat of summer, we're taking a look back at how Utah's ski resorts fared this past season. I sat down earlier with Allison Palmentier, Director of Communications at Ski Utah, to talk about it. I just wanted to first ask, how did Utah's ski resorts do this year?
We are really pleased and not at all surprised about how our visitation turned out this year. We had 6.5 million skier visits, which is really exciting and pretty much in line with what we were seeing from data from the National Skiers Association.
And how does this compare to last year?
Last year, visitation was slightly higher. This was our third best year on record. But overall, we had slightly less snow this year, so sometimes those can be correlated.
And can you talk about the financial impact to Utah because of visitors and ski resorts?
Skiing remains big business here in Utah and is a major economic contributor. It supports right around 25,000 jobs here in Utah. And as far as spending goes, ski-related spending was at $2.51 billion. Definitely a major win and just reinforces the fact that skiing is ingrained in Utah and is obviously here to stay.
Awesome. And can you talk about how the snowpack impacted ski season experience this year?
We had a bit of a slower start snowfall-wise, but then it really picked up, and we were right around average. I believe just slightly above average. We typically get about 500 inches of snow, and I believe we were right around 538 inches at some of the resorts. So overall, slightly above average year, and, you know, it's, to put it in perspective, we had 2 record-breaking snowfall years right before, including a season where we had 903 inches of snow. So overall, it was a great year, but obviously, you know, coming off of those seasons, it's interesting to compare.
Yeah. What was the overall buzz this season about the 2034 Olympics coming back? I mean, this is the first season since that big announcement.
Yeah, I think everyone was really excited. I think those who I spoke to in the community seem just really excited for the Olympics to come back and excited to show off Utah to the world. Obviously, our Olympic venues are all still in use, and visitors can have those Olympic experiences today. They can take a bobsled ride. They can, try out biathlon if they want to. So I think everyone's really excited for the Olympics, and then especially this upcoming season coming up, I'm sure that excitement will just continue to grow. And then really right around the corner, it'll be here. It sounds further away than it is, and I'm sure it'll sneak up on us very quickly.
Oh, I know. 9 years will go by in a flash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else is the industry looking forward to, just even in next year's season? Anything big on the horizon?
Yeah, we have a ton of new terrain opening across many of our resorts, some upgraded lift infrastructure. It's a really exciting time to be part of the Utah ski industry. With so much terrain coming online, it will be a really exciting time for guests to be able to experience something new. And especially if you're maybe a lapsed skier who hasn't been out the past couple of seasons, this season is a great time to get back on skis because you'll be experiencing something new for the first time with some of this new terrain. So really excited for this upcoming season.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. What are the most popular ski resorts here in Utah? Can you kind of break it down for us?
Oh, I don't have that by the numbers, unfortunately, but it's really, in Utah, we have such a wealth of choices that it would be hard to say, especially for visitors. I mean, we have 10 resorts within an hour and a half of the airport, so it's so easy to get to so many of our resorts. We're so lucky and spoiled for choice here, but hard to say with numbers.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then my final question just is, as people, I know it's June and people are thinking about their summer plans, but what about as we're looking ahead to next winter? I mean, how soon should people get a jump on making plans for the next ski season?
Season passes are already on sale, have been on sale for a little bit now. So definitely encourage folks to get their season pass if they plan to ski. It's going to be the best deal that you'll get. The earlier you can plan, the better rates will be, as well as summer is a great time to kind of plan ahead for your equipment for next season. We have so many outdoor gear stores here in Utah, whether it's new gear or consigned gear. Summer is a great time to kind of get a jump on that and make sure that you're all dialed in for next season. Or if you only plan to ski a few days, if you know those days in advance, I recommend purchasing tickets when you can. The earlier, the better, we say.
Awesome. Thanks for the tips. Well, before I let you go, is there anything else you want to add? Anything we missed?
I don't know if this is relevant, but last night, Ski Utah hosted a really cool event called the Yetis. It's the second time we've put this on, and it's an award ceremony where we honored frontline resort employees. So those lift operators and lift mechanics and parking attendants, and we had a great time with a number of folks from the resorts and getting to honor those very special people, and I'm happy to send you a list separately if you'd like.
Okay, great.
Awards.
Yeah, thank you. That's cool to hear they're being celebrated. All right, Thank you so much, Allison, for your time. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Have a good day.
In other news, UDOT crews are moving up, literally. KSL5 TV's Deja Brown explains.
Every summer, UDOT gives the more than 200 weather stations across the state a full checkup.
We're looking at what locations will benefit the public the most, and especially in terms of maintenance and keeping the mobility rolling in the winter.
A typical UDOT weather station consists of multiple sensors to detect wind, temperatures, humidity, rain and snowfall rate, even visibility and road conditions. Each weather station provides UDOT with precise, real-time data on road and weather conditions.
And what we look at too is crash data. So what we're looking at with crash data is we're looking at weather-related crashes. And so we're trying to see if we can improve conditions and make the road safer by providing weather information to those who maintain the road.
And these weather stations give UDOT insight on how to plan smarter for winter storms.
So we have a lot of seasonal summits that the roads are closed during the winter, but a lot of people are anxious to see the road open in the springtime. So we put this weather station in there to help people or help our crews determine when the roads will be open.
From there, UDOT shares that information with you through multiple communication channels like their website and those overhead digital signs you see on the freeway. The best part? It saves money. UDOT says for every $1 the department spends monitoring weather, Utah saves $11 in labor and maintenance.
One thing that goes into the locations of our weather stations is we're trying to provide them in areas that are safe for our crews to work on. Well, ideally, we'll try to find it behind a Jersey barrier or a guardrail. And so we're trying to find the best locations that keep our guys safe, but yet we have to be so close to the road to be able to sample the conditions that we want to sample.
So if you spot UDOT crews climbing towers this summer, now you know why. Furthering UDOT's mission to keep you safe starts long before the first snowfall hits. Deja Brown, KSL 5 News.
KSL meteorologist Kevin Eubank says his team uses those weather stations regularly when crafting their forecasts, so they're grateful for the work UDOT does to maintain them. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. Hello, I'm Heather Peterson. Some of the stories we're watching this hour: abuse of Utah seniors on the rise, and higher prices for travel this summer, how to save some green but still have a good time. And KSL traffic. Ricky?
We have had some backups both directions of Mountain View Corridor near daybreak at Old Bingham Highway at that intersection. It comes and goes, but be aware you could see delays. Heather?
KSL's top local stories in 1 minute. First, the latest from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Hospital officials say they're treating one survivor from today's plane crash in northwestern India. More than 240 on board the 787 jet when it went down shortly after takeoff, and it was bound for London. Here's ABC's Maggie Rulli.
More and more eyewitnesses are coming forward describing this scene as just chaos of thick smoke in the air, essentially what's a fireball rising into the sky. Because we have to remember, this flight was taking off for London, a 9-hour journey. So it was full of fuel. Now all that fuel was really fueling this fireball on the scene. Rescue workers have been brought in immediately. Local police saying all rescue workers were given to this effort.
A Homeland Security briefing in Los Angeles today turning heated when Democratic Senator Alex Padilla of California was forcibly removed after shouting questions at DHS Secretary Kristi Noem about immigration raids. Padilla says he was handcuffed but not arrested. And severe storms in San Antonio blamed for 4 deaths. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Sandy police say they're seeing less crime in the area so far this year. They're attributing it to good teamwork between police and the public. KSL News Radio's Verl Johansson explains.
Sandy Police Sergeant Greg Moffitt says reported vehicle thefts and vehicle burglaries have both dropped by more than 60%. He says one reason for the drop is their work with the Neighborhood Watch.
We are pretty proactive with meeting with our Neighborhood Watch and helping pass along good tips to our citizens.
Moffitt says he doesn't think they're doing anything different from other police departments, but
there's always a possibility that these numbers could be, a little bit off based on, people not reporting things.
Moffitt says some people may not want to report a crime because they're worried they're wasting officers' time, but he says police want to know even if it's a small crime. He says they've also improved online reporting if people don't want to call. Verl Johansson, KSL News Radio.
A daycare employee in Murray is being accused of sexually abusing several children by touching them inappropriately. The alleged abuse happened back in February. The documents do not name the daycare where the abuse was reported. Southern Utah's drought situation has improved over the last week, despite the fact they've been dealing with triple-digit heat. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, parts of the state that are in severe or extreme drought have both decreased thanks to all the storms the southern part of the state has received in the last couple weeks. But National Weather Service hydrologist Glenn Merrill says that improvement likely won't last long.
We're going to see a lot of evaporative demand on the landscape here over the next week or two.
Merrill says, though, southern Utah has a good chance of getting strong monsoon season, which could help limit the severity of the drought this summer. Other local stories KSL is following. The University of Utah is working to get more doctors into rural areas by opening a campus in St. George focused on helping those communities.
The Southern Utah Regional Medical Campus will use facilities owned by Utah Tech University and partner with Intermountain Health to train future doctors in rural health. Senior Associate Dean of the campus, Michelle Hoffman, says in Utah, 21% of the state's population lives in a rural area, but only 11% of doctors are there to serve them. They will train for 1 year at the main campus in Salt Lake, then do their clinical studies at the St. George campus.
KSL's Brianna Willis reporting. The southern campus will share the same core curriculum as the main one, but this gives them the opportunity to be a bigger help in the community. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 101 points, the S&P is up 23, and the NASDAQ is up 46. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Here's Ricky Meese.
Southbound I-15 in Davis County, we have not seen speeds improve at all the entire afternoon. It is still bogged down and slow. Kaysville into Farmington. Also, unusual delays. This is going westbound from Lehigh to Eagle Mountain on traveling Corey Ride Highway SR 73 at Foothill Boulevard near Mountain View. Connect your family with nature this spring. Container gardening with plants from Olson's Greenhouse will get them off their screens and out in the yard. For tips and ideas, visit ogg.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Another warm day here in Utah, just like the rest of this week's been. The high is expected to get up to 94 today. That trend continues throughout the weekend. Father's Day looking up to get about 98 degrees. Right now it's 89 in Salt Lake City and mostly sunny from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Your electric bill is going to be higher for summer, but not if you get new windows from Advanced Window Products. State-of-the-art double-pane windows and insulated frames, any style, any color, from a company that's been building them right here in Salt Lake City for 39 years. Not only are you buying local, but you're cutting out the middleman because they're the factory. You save 30, even 40% on your new windows, and you get a lifetime guarantee from a trusted local company. If there's a problem 5 years from now, they come right over and get things straight. And right now, you can save even more. If you call Advanced Windows for a quote, they'll give you an extra $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Advanced Windows offers buy now, pay later. They have 60-month 0% financing. They always work out affordable payments, plus $2,500 off. So get your new windows for summer. Make the call now, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or you can go to advancedwindows.com.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson in for Maria Shilaos. Elder abuse on the rise around Utah. Salt Lake County leaders now issuing a warning outlining the signs you should look for to make sure your elderly relatives and friends are staying safe. Afton January is the Salt Lake County Aging and Adult Services Communications Manager. She says connection and communication are essential to protect those age 60 or better.
One of the most effective ways to prevent elder abuse is through community connection and combating social isolation through regular social engagement. When older adults are seen, heard, and supported by friends, family, neighbors, and loved ones, they are so much less vulnerable to abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Visiting a local senior center is one of the most powerful ways to stay connected and engaged. Salt Lake County operates 15 senior centers throughout the valley, and there are senior centers in every community in the state of Utah. These centers provide social support, nutrition, activities, engagement, and wellness resources that can help protect against isolation and neglect. We encourage everyone to stay connected to older adults in their lives. Make the call, pay a visit, join a meal or an activity at a senior center if you're an older adult yourself. Check on the older people in your neighborhood. Call your grandparents and your parents. Make sure that the older people in your life and your community are connected to other people.
To learn more about the signs of elder abuse, go to daas.utah.gov. In other news, if you're still making plans to travel this summer, you might be a little concerned with the price. I've got a few kids and just did some traveling myself. Trust me, it is expensive. But there are some things you can do to keep things a little more reasonably priced. Here's KSL 5 TV's Daniel Woodruff with a look at how to keep the cost down.
Most Americans say they'll travel at least one night away this summer. That's according to a report from NerdWallet. Nearly 9 in 10 plan to use a credit card to pay for it. But you don't need to go into debt in order to have a memorable summer.
It's just not worth it.
Ashley LeBaron Black teaches family finance at BYU. For her, debt is a big don't, at least for trips.
Yeah. That's my reaction is no. Don't do that to yourselves.
It's a philosophy that's worked well for Danielle Noakes. She and her husband live in Lehigh and have 4 kids.
We never go into debt on a vacation.
But they still like to have fun each summer. In fact, this summer, they've already made a list.
I've actually never been to Lagoon. I've lived here since college. We like to just explore around the area of where we live.
That doesn't mean they don't travel.
There's still the possibility, like maybe we'll do like a short weekend drive to, the Tetons or something close.
But Danielle tries to be purposeful with money and not spend any dollars she doesn't have.
I think if we didn't have the extra money for it, we would just take our time to save for it. You don't have to go to Disneyland. I mean, we love Disneyland, but you don't have to go to Disneyland to have a good time with your kids.
Many Americans do plan to travel this summer. Marissa Smurthwaite is a travel advisor. She says some travelers have backed off because of the economy, but others are looking for ways to make it work.
We're not going to just stop going on vacation because there's unsurety.
To save money, she recommends using frequent flyer miles or credit card points, finding free things to do in the cities you visit, and being willing to stay and eat at cheaper places. Also, look around for flights.
You've got flights out of the Provo airport that are sometimes really great deals. If you're willing to do a little more work, take a little road trip, drive to Vegas or to LA, and then fly from there, you can save yourself a lot of money.
I love the creativity that people are using.
Whatever you do this summer, this professor says be prudent and don't pay for it the way most Americans plan to, especially since some of them are still in debt trying to pay off last year's trips.
If people have the money for it and they've intentionally kind of budgeted for that, saved up for that, made that decision, love it.
Now that NerdWallet study found even though most Americans are using credit cards to pay for trips, they're also still trying to take steps to save. The most common steps, choosing a hotel based on price, using credit card points to pay for expenses, and driving instead of flying.
Daniel joined Inside Sources this morning to talk a bit more about what he found. He said looking local is a great idea for vacations.
But we interviewed a mother of 4. She said her bottom line principle is that they do not go into debt for a vacation. And while we were doing the interview, I looked over on her whiteboard, and they had a list of summer plans. And do you know where all those summer plans were? They were here in Utah. She said, I've never been to Lagoon. I've gone to college here in Utah. I've lived here for a while. I've never been. That's our family plan, is to go to Lagoon. We have other water parks planned. We have things that are involving hiking and elements that people travel to Utah for all the time from around the world that is literally in our own backyard.
Sometimes it can be more expensive to fly out of Salt Lake City. It's something that often happens with a hub airport. He suggests looking at other airports, Provo or out of state, may be cheaper options.
I talked to a travel advisor at Morris Columbus, and she specifically mentioned that. She said if you are willing to drive to Vegas or LA, often you can get a lot of deals on certain flights, certainly not all of them. But then she also mentioned the Provo airport, too, because there are several airlines there that connect to other destinations, and those flights are often less than what you might find at Salt Lake City.
In the end, he reiterated, don't go into debt for vacation. It's just not worth it.
When I talked to another expert, a BYU family life professor, she told me that just bottom line, don't feel like you have to take on enormous amounts of debt in order to have fun. In fact, she said debt is a big don't for her, especially for trips, because, again, if people calculated how much money they're spending on something, she says by the time it's all paid off, they'd realize it was a bad idea. It's just not worth it. And so taking some time ahead of time to figure this out and think through it can really avoid that debt pitfall down the road.
You can find more tips by checking out Daniel's story online at ksltv.com. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
It's true. Anyone can paint a room, a wall, a side of a house. It's also true that anyone can groom your pet.
Aw, poor thing. Is he sick?
Well, anyone can trim the trees. Anyone can coach.
Gina, throw it at that net thing.
It's Charlie, and I'm pretty sure you're supposed to kick the ball in soccer.
Just because you can do something doesn't mean you always should. And when it comes to your home, not everyone can paint with character, integrity, and the knowledge that no one will ever do a better job. And that's who we are. I'm Adam with 5 Star Painting. New paint in your home takes that warm springtime feel to a whole new level. With 5starpainting.com, we offer hands-on management, and our partnership with Sherwin-Williams means we're painting with the industry's best materials. Trust our 20 years of experience, over 1,000 online beaming reviews, and our 2-year warranty that sets us apart from all the others. Remember, anyone can paint a room.
My masterpiece!
Oh, wow.
But the smart choice is 5 Star or nothing. 5starpainting.com.
Planning to use public transit in and around the U this summer, including up to the hospitals and medical centers on the bench, you're going to want to hear this. UTA is making updates to the Red Line near Rice-Eccles Stadium, potentially causing big delays for anyone heading up that way. UTA spokesperson Gavin Gustafson told KSL News Radio's Josue Sanchez what they're doing.
There's quite a bit of maintenance and infrastructure upgrades going on the Trax Red Line at the stadium station and further on down the S-curve. So basically between about where 4th South starts to go up the hill into the S-curve and then up to stadium station. So there's a lot of upgrades and maintenance that's going on there, specifically at that station that has what is what's called an interlocking, are literally several moving pieces that allow trains to pass through the intersection through those curves and coordinates when trains can go through so that they don't run into each other. It's the system that allows 2 trains to pass through the intersection at the same time.
The reason for these changes? Gustafson says this is an upgrade to their infrastructure because the S-curve leading up to the stadium adds extra wear and tear to the equipment.
Anytime any rail is not going straight, there's additional wear and tear on the system, and an S-curve is quite literally not straight. So there's this particular section does require an extra amount of work compared to other parts of our system. And also it's an upgrade and it's safety related, it's ride comfort related. And, while that may seem somewhat materialistic or maybe not as crucial, the ride comfort, the smoother the ride is, the better it is for our riders, but the better it is for our equipment. If it's rough, then that's extra wear on the wheels, extra wear on the suspension, extra wear on the vehicle. So this is all a lot of preventive maintenance and infrastructure upgrades that will make the Red Line better for years to come.
Gustafson says they plan for construction to run from May 24th to August 17th while regular classes weren't in session, so they could avoid causing delays for students as much as they possibly could. However, this summer, riders should plan for an extra 15 to 45 minutes of delays. If you've ever lived in a rural place, you understand the frustrations with getting things shipped to your home. It can feel like it takes forever. A new shipping center in northern Utah, though, trying to speed things up a little bit. But first, KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
We have not seen good speeds through this stretch the entire day. Southbound I-15, where we have road work in Davis County going from the Kaysville Ponds down to Park Lane in Farmington, is still bogged down and slow. When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cypress Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypresscu.com today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Incredible savings on all Bernina machines at Dave's Bernina in Provo and St. George.
Don't miss our sun-kissed savings, such as $200 to $400 off machines $2,000 to $5,000, $500 to $700 off machines $5,000 to $8,000, $800 to $1,000 discounts on machines $8,000 to $15,000. And get $1,500 savings on machines $15,000 and up. Plus a limited time offer of 2.99% interest for 60 months on certain machines.
Come in now for bargains on trade-ins, classroom, and demo machines that come with warranties.
The Burnett 33 machine is only $199 and the Burnett Academy $349.
Come see the Bernina 990, the most amazing revolutionary sewing machine in the world.
With a discount up to $1,500.
Dave's Bernina, 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo. Dave'sBernina.com.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness, and Utah isn't immune.
With nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or some other form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe. KSL has teamed with 988 Utah, the free suicide and crisis lifeline, to bring you hope and help you thrive.
If you or a loved one is experiencing a mental health crisis, call or text 988.
Because a healthy mind matters.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads, great for you, and so easy you can put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage, weird, but still a salad. 1 radish and a couple of green beans, also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke. Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I am down 50 pounds in 11 weeks, and this program works. The pounds melt off. It's amazing.
I let go of 50 pounds. It felt unreal. I was so proud of myself.
Get in the best shape of your life with Soda Weight Loss.
Just 3 weeks in, and pounds are dropping off very quickly. I am down 26 pounds in 3 weeks.
Summer is right around the corner.
Your summer body starts right here because Soda's summer savings are on.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight without drugs, without hunger, and the weight stays off.
I tried other things, came to Soda, just amazing.
I started on Soda 8 months ago, and I have released 80 pounds now.
Summer savings, stunning results, only at Soda Weight Loss. Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
This is Midday. I'm Heather Peterson. Maria Shilaos is on a well-deserved vacation. A new Amazon delivery station in Marriott-Slaterville promising to bring more jobs and speedier delivery service to rural areas throughout northern Utah, southern Idaho, and western Wyoming. With a statewide investment of $8.2 billion and continued growth for the company since 2010, this facility marks another significant milestone in Amazon's presence in Utah. The delivery station's manager, Christopher Young, spoke with KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson about the new station, saying it's a place where Amazon employees could experience more serious career growth.
The career growth and opportunity that, it being launched now and that it's providing to the area, I think is kind of the main focus point for us, especially as my site as a whole, especially kind of just looking at my team in general that we kind of built here. I ended up transferring over 3 operations managers. 2 of them were able to promote from their level 5 position, to level 6, essentially from an area manager to operations manager is their title. And it gave them that opportunity to do so with the launch of this building. And all 3 of those, 3 of the 5 operations managers that we have out of this building, all started as a Tier 1 associate, and all started when DT1 had launched out in West Valley all those years ago, which was the first Amazon building in the state of Utah. And so being able to see that career growth and give those opportunities to folks that have been with Amazon for a while out here, I think it's just phenomenal. It's just awesome to really be able to see that now that the building's open.
But the chance at a career with Amazon doesn't just extend to current employees. Young expects this center will bring 700 plus job opportunities to the area between associates and the more than 500 independent contractors needed to work as delivery drivers.
Especially as we continue forward with kind of our plans to process more volume as we continue to grow as an operation site, especially as we get into, the Prime Day deals, the holiday season, and just overall being able to hire more associates and give them, people that live in the area, just give them that career opportunity, whether just to come in and start as a Tier 1 associate, and just have that kind of job security. And then, or if they're looking to advance within the company itself, they will be given that opportunity to be able to do so.
This isn't just about job opportunities, though. It's about bringing faster delivery service to a wider area of Utah and its surrounding states.
The best thing about this site and is that we just where we deliver to and just our delivery jurisdiction. So we actually deliver as far north as Downey, Idaho. We go west to Snowville, Utah, and then we also extend all the way out to Evanston and Mountain View, Wyoming. So just that big radius. And in that radius, there was about 38 new zip codes alone that we started delivering to that had never been serviced by Amazon Logistics before.
Young says this gets them closer to Amazon's 2-day shipping, even in the most rural and hard-to-reach areas. There's a hot new toy out there with a retro feel, but sellers are struggling to keep it in stock. That's leading to high price tags on resale sites. More from News Nation's Anna Koyman.
Have you seen these Labubu's? They're the collectible dolls with a toothy grin. In the 80s, there were the Cabbage Patch Kids. In the 90s, Beanie Babies. In the 2000s, the Furbies. And now it is Labubu. The collectible furry monsters are sold in blind boxes, meaning as folks are buying them, shoppers actually don't know what the Labubu looks like until they get them home.
They're kind of creepy. Not for me. My daughter likes it.
An artist in Hong Kong designed the dolls, which are sold by a Chinese company called Pop Mart, and the stock is skyrocketing. Folks are scooping up Labubus to attach to purses and backpacks, kind of like keychains.
It's kind of nostalgic. It reminds me of Where the Wild Things Are. It's kind of like a Furby. It's just the latest toy craze. My daughter knew exactly what they were. They're kind of like the mystery. It's like a blind bag. You don't know what you're going to get.
On Pop Mart's website, they go for between $20 and $40, but they are actually largely sold out and going for hundreds of dollars on resale sites. Like any popular trend, you got to be careful about the counterfeit market.
The tag says Pop Mart. I don't know, and so does this one, but the face is upside down. Is this like an actual Labubu, or is this like a knockoff.
According to LabubuFanWorld.com, check the hands, blush, or UV foot markings to see if it is fake or the real deal.
They'll have a tag on the Labubu, a stamp on the foot, and they all come with like QR codes on the box. And you can scan it at the Pop Mart website, and that is like a sure way to know if you have a Labubu or if you have a knockoff. Then it just will give you an error and say that, you know, it can't find the QR code in the Labubu website.
Fueling the craze, celebrities too, like LeBron James, Hilary Duff, Simone Biles, and Dua Lipa. For News Nation, I'm Anna Koyman.
Yeah, and I just Googled it myself. They're kind of strange looking. You have to check it out, Jeff. I don't know if you've seen them yet.
I have. I don't get it.
I don't either. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today on Midday. I'll be back tomorrow to help wrap up the week. Up next, Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News. Have a great day.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. We're at 89 degrees in Salt Lake City. KSL's top story. The death toll from this morning's jet crash in India has been rising through the day. ABC News correspondent Inez de la Cutera is joining us live from Paris.